The game's to be sold, not told. So we finna keep everybody broke. They say time is money. They say money talk. I ain't got no time to waste if you ain't got no time. Out and about, out chasing paper. The streets of my house and the house always wins like Vegas. Never down for the count. Second win, second nature. Found mine. Never had my hands out. Fuck favors. By design, everything tailored. In my youth, it was shell toes, no Chuck Taylors. We choke game, how to have a game, so it's still the same code game, so it's still the same code. We all pay the cost, pay dues. Move with the mind state that I can't lose. On the grind, push a hard line with my linemen. Back when I was young, they said it's all about timing. Feel it's my time, all the stars are aligning. I'm a diamond in the rough, couple cuts got me shining. This game you cannot cop on consignment. In the field, all we do is execute assignments. The game's to be sold, not told. So we finna keep everybody broke. They say time is money, they say money talk. I ain't got no time to waste if you ain't got no time to talk. The game's to be sold, not told. So we finna keep everybody broke. They say time is money, they say money talk. I ain't got no time to waste if you ain't got no time to talk.
First, we get into this paper. See, I want it all, plus some UNDERDOG acres, a lot of alcohol, few dad bags of paper. Run this shit like a ship and I'm the sailor. Cold, kinda like it's fresh up out the freezer. Cold, if she ain't talking bread, I don't need her. Soon as I meet her, I'ma fuck her, then I leave her. It's the old Mac needs, treat them all like bottom feeders. Break it down slow for them folks that don't know. I'm a seasoned vet, black belt out the dojo. With a wide range of weapons, so I'm out the holster. Keeping all options open, so many ways that I can fold ya. Told you from the gate, never been about no play. Get it on the go, they never been known for no delay. The game should be sold, not to be told. Keep your mouth shut, don't have to break the mold. Mac needs.
Break the work down, it's fence the move. Push that work out, I distribute. Break the work down, it's fence the move. Push that work out, I just distribute. A young pack mover, shot to my consumer. Jumping out the foreign or I'm hopping out the Uber. Crew clocking chips opposite of you losers. Can't be broke as a joker, got no sense of humor. Just a young pack mover, shot to my consumer. Jumping out the foreign or I'm hopping out the Uber. Crew clocking chips opposite of you losers. Can't be broke as a joker, got no sense of humor.
I'm a D-boy, need abusive as users. I'm a D-boy, need abusive as users. I'm a D-boy, need abusive as users. You know I'm the boy, get money's what I'm used to.
Keep you straight from the gate, so I don't confuse ya. I'm a D-boy, need abusive as users. I'ma make noise, shout to my producer. I'm an entertainer, but I ain't here to amuse ya. Yeah, fuck with shooters and they all fucking users. Come through, wake that ass up like a rooster, hella early in the morning. Early bird gets a worm. Finna get rich for 'em, food for the worms. Cutting cocaine, dropping whole things. It's a cold game, make you run your gold chain. Hungry, but I'm moving in a keto state. For sure, I beat the price on the keys in your state. Catch me running up a tail, fucking up a bag. Make me wonder how long will a good thing last. On my Curtis Mayfield, live a life I can't chill. Push a man, pushing packs, all I do is make squeal. Keep it 100, I'm just numb, yo, I can't feel none of these suckers when they say they real. Stacking Uber cash, I'm an out-of-state supply. Random Uber man here to get away drive. Just a young pack mover, shot to my consumer. Jumping out the foreign or I'm hopping out the Uber. Crew clocking chips opposite of you losers. Can't be broke as a joker, got no sense of humor. Just a young pack mover, shot to my consumer. Jumping out.
What is up? We are now entering week 5. Holy shit.
Check that. 6.
6. Well, yeah, my bad. Checking into week. God damn, that went quick.
I know.
We just finished week 5.
It's going too
Most of
fast.
my, I think only one of my redraft teams is really ass. And and that's in the draft day dice league, which we actually had to roll the dice to, determine which position that we pick, which was rough. So my team is rough. I think that's the only team really that I'm struggling, and I think all my other teams are solid. I think I have one other team that's like 2-3. Um, but it's looking up. Joe Burrow's looking better. I have Joe Burrow on that squad. So things are looking pretty good dynasty wise. I mean, I'm tanking in a couple leagues, and then the ones I'm competing in. So I'm kind of up there. The only one that sucks is our subscriber league. I've been hit with so many injuries.
Don't talk to me about our subscriber league. I'm 1-4, dude.
Yeah, but you actually have a good team and you have good
I do
points.
have a
You've
good
just
team.
been playing the wrong teams. So
Yeah, like fucking DJ
and
Moore.
that's one of the things, especially when we're talking about in Dynasty, is looking at the league, looking at the different teams, looking at the points for, and kind of determining where you are. Because even though you might be a 1-4 or 2-3, whatever whatever the record is,
I agree.
you still have a chance, right?
I do.
Where for me, like I lost JK early. I don't have my first round pick. I lost Aaron Rodgers, and now I'm losing JJ, and my team is taking a big hit. So I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. Kind of fishing around, seeing what I can do. Nobody wants Russell Wilson, even though he's QB8 right now. And I might have to move a Garrett Wilson or something. I don't know. So I got to figure that out. But anyway, what's up, chat? Up to everybody in a second here. But what's going on with you? How are your teams rolling? How's your season going?
This week, I felt like if I didn't play DJ Moore in 3 out of my 4 leagues, I would have went 3-1. In your home redraft league, I'm 0-5. I just can't buy a win. It's so bad. I'm searching for answers, but okay, fine, whatever. You have those teams that stink. I don't think I've ever been 0-5. In my league, so in my home redraft league, I faced DJ Moore, and I could have overcome him, but Jordan Love shit the bed last night for me. I was down 30, and I had Jordan Love and Jaden Reed. I got like 8 combined points from those guys, so that was a wash. In our home dynasty league, in our subscriber league, I went against not only DJ Moore, but Justin Fields to boot. So basically, I was down 100 before Sunday. I had good production. I have Tyreek Hill on that team, Jalen Hurts, Olave, Judy, Sam Laporta, Tank Dell, Dubes, Jordan Love, who's been really good up to this point. So I do like my team, and I kind of agree with what you're saying in terms of you have to look a little bit deeper into it, because I do like my team in our subscriber league. I'm just kind of running into some unfortunate bad luck. And then in our home dynasty league against your ass, I overcame DJ Moore with just a massive week.
It didn't even matter. I didn't play Zach Moss, but even if I did, it wouldn't have mattered. So I didn't feel as bad about it. But I was kicking myself in the foot a little bit.
Which wouldn't have mattered. So that team in our home league, in our home dynasty league, has been really good, obviously, since its inception. So, I actually made a big trade in that league. I don't know if we were able to get to it. I think we did last week. I traded Josh Jacobs and Jared Goff and a couple other parts. 1 quarterback league. I landed Devontae Adams, and then I made another trade. I traded Cooper Kupp and I landed Austin Eckler.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty good. I didn't like the other trade that happened. It was James Cook for Eckler, and who was it?
I didn't like it either. I'll tell you right now. Players search. I saw that trade. I didn't like it either. Oops.
I was like, what the fuck? Why would you trade Eckler to get Cook and whatever else?
The trade was James Cook for Austin Eckler and Mike Wilson.
Yeah. I don't know. But
yeah, so I basically swapped out Josh Jacobs and Cooper Kupp, and I brought in Austin Eckler and Devontae Adams. Christian Watson came back for me, which was good. I think he's going to have good upside. He's going to have that game-breaking ability, as we kind of saw yesterday. It was a little weird. Did you watch the play where he kind of caught that off-script play and he was running? Didn't it seem like Christian Watson's fast enough to get away from Marcus Peters?
He is coming back from injury, and he couldn't really catch him. To be fair, he had to horse collar him, but saved the tutty.
I understand. So I'm 3-2 in our home dynasty league. I'm 2-3 in my redraft league. I am 1-4 in our subscriber league, and I am 0-5 in your league. So it's been a rough go of it, but I feel good about what I've been doing dynasty wise. Redraft is roll of the dice. You could get lucky. You pick up some guys that you didn't expect. Puka, A-Chain, guys like that. Mostert that get you up to the hot start. But as far as my dynasty team goes, I love both of them. Burrow and Chase finally bust out, which was fantastic to see. And that's kind of the rock of my team. Now, I like that I have Eckler and Devontae now. That kind of solidifies that core. George Kittle, I've been telling you guys, stick with George Kittle.
He has 5 shit weeks and then he has a big one. 5 shit weeks and then a big one. So if you can hold that.
Hold on. He actually had one other solid week where he had like 7 for 90 or something like that. But I've been saying this, George Kittle, if you have him on your team, George Kittle's going to frustrate you. He really will. But at that position, he can win you a week. And if you had George Kittle in your lineups this week, you probably won. So that's all I'm going to say. And my guy, Sam Laporta, is just fantastic. I fucking love that guy.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's going to be up there.
He's amazing.
Rankings. All right, let's say what up to everybody in the chat here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll get to all the questions here. And whatever it is, redraft dynasty, you can throw it out there. We'll cover it all. But South C, what's up? Who would be your top pick out of Jeff Wilson, Roshan, and DeMarco?
Well, with A-Chain going down, Jeff Wilson's very interesting. Now, he is a little bit older, and obviously, he does have the injury history. DeMarco's a very interesting pick here because I feel like with Connor now going down, which I actually made a couple offers for Connor that people turned down. I'm pretty sure they're regretting that. I think DeMarco is a really interesting pick here. And are we talking season long? Are we talking for the week?
I think this is my one thing to say to be careful with DeMarcado is that Keontae Ingram was out, right? Keontae Ingram is the second running back. He's the guy behind James Conner. He missed the last 2 weeks with a neck injury. So is he going to be playing this week or not, right? Keontae Ingram would normally be the guy that's going to step right in, which I actually made a video on like, 2 weeks ago? Who's the next Jerome Ford? And I put the video out of Keontae Ingram, and it just so happened he wound up getting hurt. So now DeMarcado went in. I mean, he's more of a pass catching specialist, but they do like him a little bit. Ingram can kind of do both, but so it's interesting to see what's going to happen there. Is Ingram going to be okay, and is that going to be a split backfield or not? Right. When you look at Roshan, we've been telling everybody to hold and to stash on the bench. Herbert now goes down, is going to miss a few weeks. So the thing with Roshan is he could carve out a role for the rest of the season, not necessarily just for the next few weeks. And Jeff Wilson, that's going to be a split backfield. And what happens when A-Chan comes back, if he comes back, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does that turn into there? So, I would say there's a little bit more risk in DeMarcado and Jeff Wilson than maybe Roshan. But if you need points for right now, A-Chan is going to be missing. Jeff Wilson is going to be getting high value touches in a very, very good offense. So, I mean, they've set records already for the, yards and everything for the first few games. So I would say, if you desperately need points right now, go with Jeff Wilson. If you just need a guy to kind of be on the bench that you can plug in when you need to, I'd go with Roshan. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with that. I have Jeff Wilson in our home dynasty league, and he's been pretty good. I mean, a couple of years ago when he was with San Francisco and Mitchell went down, he played well. And obviously he knows that Mike McDaniel's offense from San Francisco. reunited with Raheem Mostert. We saw what he kind of did last year coming over in the trade. So I kind of agree that Jeff Wilson feels like the more stable RB2 just because of the offense, the opportunities he's going to have. And Jeff Wilson's still explosive. Like, he's an older running back, but he doesn't have as much mileage on him as many 31-year-old running backs. And if he gets 12, 13 touches, I'm comfortable with that in my RB2 spot with upside, right? He can have 100 yards and a touchdown on any given week. So
Marco the Future, what up? Good morning over there where you're at. Zone Throne, what's up? Marco's in, I think was it Germany, I think.
Ooh, okay. I love that.
I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. Marco, let me know. I forgot. My bad.
Yeah, man. As I've gotten older, I start to appreciate people from other parts of the world. Like, you appreciate the travel, culture, interacting with people, not only in the US, but other parts of the world. So it's really awesome that that Marco's tuning in from Germany.
What's on Jeff Wilson coming back? Is he startable this week?
So I was actually just looking at his profile here, and it says he's expected to have his 21-day window opened for a potential return from the injured reserve. He was eligible to debut in week 5, but that didn't happen. Now, with A-Chain and Ahmed down, is there more of an urgency to have Jeff Wilson back? So it doesn't. There's no certainty on whether he's going to be back.
I think you probably have to be desperate if you're going to start Wilson almost. I mean, if it is just going to be him and Mostert, I mean, Mostert is going to be the main guy, but it's kind of like the 1A, 1B type of thing. I mean, how much touches is Jeff Wilson going to get, especially just coming back, right? Especially if Mostert is hot a little bit. I mean, it could be one of those Mostert gets 20 carries, Wilson is like 6, 7. I just we don't know really what to expect. And like Hammer said, he could have came back last week, but he didn't. So that could tell you something, that he just wasn't ready to come back. How much did they want to bring him back early when A-Chan was kind of going him? They probably didn't want to rush it anyway. So maybe it wasn't that bad. They just wanted to give him the extra week. But yeah, I think it's tough. I mean, depending on your options, I wouldn't just automatically throw him in. Just depends on who you got.
And they have a good matchup coming up this week with Carolina, so it could be worth. And listen, the running back position is very fluid with all the injuries. Eckler's supposed to be on his way back. Barkley's supposed to be on his way back, but A-Chan goes down. There's the running back situation is very fluid. So at this point, bye weeks obviously have kicked in. So a lot of people are kind of desperate for a running back. So if you have him and you're desperate for an RB2 play, I would do it if he's active.
Mm-hmm. Caddy, what up, Caddy? How about the A-Chan trade for Adams? I don't remember. Did you trade A-Chan for Adams? I don't remember exactly. Remember what it was. Remind me, Caddy. Throw it in the chat there. Jackson, what up, Jackson? Crispy in the building.
Yes, sir. Crispy.
Good, guys.
All the usual suspects.
Caddy said he's 4-1, almost lost to the 0-4 guy. Had more. Okay. So you're 4-1. Is that the 8-man one, Caddy? Is that the 8-man one? Let me know. Jackson said, did he make... Okay, so Jackson made a few moves. I actually made another Dynasty move like 20 minutes before getting on. I accepted a trade. We'll talk about that after. We'll probably run for about 45 minutes, maybe an hour or so, just answering questions, being here for you guys in the chat, and then we'll get into kind of the Dynasty aspect of it. We're going to talk about rebuilding a little bit, some tips on what to do if you're rebuilding, and then we also have a roster review that we are going to go over as well for a rebuilding team. What do you think of the pickup on waivers out of the Cardinals backfield? It's a tough one. It's Ingram and DeMarcado. I don't know. Is it going to be split? I really don't know what to expect. It's tough. It's tough. Ingram is technically the RB2 and DeMarcado is the RB3, but is Ingram fully healthy? Is he actually going to play this week? Like, that's the tough part. That's the tough part about it. Because if Ingram plays, then you have both of them back there. I have no clue what that split is going to look like. I would guess Ingram would get more touches because he is, actually the RB2, but it could be split. Maybe Ingram gets more carries, but then Demercado's getting the receiving work. It could be some kind of split thing. So I think we're going to have to wait and kind of see almost what's going to happen. But yeah, it's tough. I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on what could happen in the backfield?
No, you kind of have to, exactly what you said, is kind of wait and see. If you could get both of them, great. If you can get one, it's kind of a 50-50, like a flip of a coin at this point, because, most backfields, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, most backfields are 50-50 anyway, 60-40 anyway. So you kind of have to just play it out. Grab one of them if you can, and then just play and see what happens. So it's really hard to judge because we truly don't know. Obviously, Connor was the bell cow, quote unquote, there. So I got to imagine it's going to be some sort of 50-50 type split.
Zonal Throne said, thinking about trying to trade Burrows for Olave. I have Mahomes anyway. Maybe some sort of bundle like Burrow and Pierce for Olave and Brian Robinson.
I assume this is a one quarterback league. And if you have Burrow and Mahomes, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that works. If you don't need the backup quarterback. If you can get somebody you can play, then
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll take it. Zonal. Marco says, starting a new dynasty in 2 days. We draft 36 players, but only have 32 roster spots, 4 taxis. What happens with the other 4 players? My commissioner is totally new to the sleeper app. So what would happen is once the draft is over, it's going to tell you have too many players on your roster that you've got to drop players or move them to the taxi. So really it's 20. I mean, yeah, really it's 28 roster spots. And then 4 of them, you have spots for rookies that you can put in those taxi spots. So that's how I would kind of draft it is, don't draft just 32 overall players. You're going to have to drop them. So you're going to have some rookies that you can put in the taxi spot. So pick at least 4 rookies throughout the whole time, throughout the whole draft.
Well, based on this, he can draft 36 and put 4 of them on the taxi.
My bad. Yeah, I said it wrong. Same thing. Instead of 28, my bad. Same I said 32, 28. 36, 32, my bad.
Yeah.
So same exact thing. You're going to have to draft 32 players and 4 players that have to be rookies. So 36 altogether, but 4 of them are going to have to be rookies, or else they're going to tell you that you need to drop players.
Yep. Absolutely.
Jackson said he's 2-3. His team this morning was Burrow, Mixon, Swift, Pollard, Mostert, AJ, Hollywood, Olave, Nico, and Garrett Wilson. And I like that. Now it is Burrow, Pollard, Achane, Mixon, Pierce, JJ, AJ, Olave, and Hollywood upgrade to Mark Andrews. So you got the 2. So you took the 2 hurt players in Achane and JJ, it looks like. So you still got AJ, you got Olave, and you got Hollywood to play. Okay.
So
you got Mark Andrews. You don't have Achane, but you got Pollard, Mixon, and Pierce. So if you could withstand these next few weeks, go ahead.
A month. I was going to say a month, basically, because it looks like Achane is most likely headed to IR. Justin Jefferson's definitely headed to IR. Is he already on IR?
Yeah.
Right. So the only caution I would say, Jackson, for this specific situation is we're already in week 6, right? We only get 14 of these things in fantasy, right? So they're very limited. So if I'm trading for a hurt player, I would probably only have traded for one or the other, because you don't want to hurt your team so much that you're only 2-3. If you are 4-1, I would say, fuck yeah, this is a great trade, blah, blah, blah. But you need every single win you could get. So the only issue I have with that, those are fantastic players that you picked up, but you need every win that you can get. So that would be my best kind of assessment of the situation.
We're going for the gusto. I mean, shit.
I get it, but by the time the gusto happens, you might not be there.
He could withstand it because he's got Pollard, Mixon, and Pierce that he can run as his RBs, and then he's got AJ, Olave, and Hollywood, and then he's got Mark Andrews. So
I get it.
If you withstand this, you're going to be in an awesome position. So
it's definitely a gamble.
I'm for the risk. Let's go.
It's definitely a gamble, and the JJ gamble I would have taken 1000%. It's just very risky. So listen, props to you for making the gamble. Hopefully in 6-7 weeks you come to us and your team is 7-4 or some nonsense like that, and you're talking about making a playoff run.
Yeah. Brad, what's up, Brad? Would you trade Ayuk and Ramondre for Waddle?
On the surface, yes. Now, what are you just tearing up to Waddle?
I'm trying
Do
to.
you
I mean,
have
it's not necessarily a tear up with the way Ayuk's playing and the way Waddle's playing right now, at least anyway.
Well, Waddle's been okay. I think, he had the touchdown last week. I don't think he had much else. I was kind of locked into some other things.
He did have 10 targets, which was,
Yeah,
I think, his high of the season.
Waddle hasn't been great. And I think the beauty of this, the Achane injury, is I think Waddle will start to see a lot more work. Because they've been outside of the Buffalo game, they've just been blowing people away. So the running game is basically taken over in the second half. So really, Waddle's basically getting a first half to do his damage. But I do think with the Achane injury, that could open up Waddle a little bit more. And if the games are more competitive, hey, maybe you'll see Waddle really bust out and go, 8 catches on 13 targets for 170 and 2 touchdowns or something like that. So I like this because of the upside, but there's all sorts of factors that go into why you're making this trade.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to just go for the upside, then fuck it. Yeah, let's just go for Waddle. Ramondre hasn't been doing jack, so if you like Waddle over Ayuk for the rest of the season, then let's do it. I'm fine either way. I mean, it's not a huge difference, but he said his 10-man is T-Law, K9, Aaron Jones, Kupp, Jefferson, Hawk, Godwin with Michael Thomas, Dubes, Curtis Samuel. He's 3-2. Okay. T-Law hasn't even been that good.
No,
especially
he's been
in a
average.
10-man that's probably killing you. You might be able to start somebody else. I don't know who's out there. He hasn't been great, but K9, Aaron Jones. You've got Kupp, Jefferson, who just went down, but Kupp is back now, so okay.
And he looks like
Hawk,
Kupp.
Godwin. Michael Thomas has been decent. I mean, he's giving you a decent amount of points. Nothing crazy, but
solid wide
had some
receiver
good
3.
games. Curtis Samuel's been solid. Okay. I like it.
See, but the problem is in a 10-man team, you need those heavy hitters.
Those heavy hitters. And you got the Kupp, you got Jefferson, you got Hawk, which is great. K9's been really good. Aaron Jones hasn't done jack. So that's tough, but
see the thing also too that especially with this particular team in a 10-man, the thing I worry about is obviously the Justin Jefferson injury. It really hurts. Aaron Jones has kind of been non-existent since week 1, and you just don't have that heavy hitting production, especially without Justin Jefferson. So that would be a major concern of mine there.
Itty bitty, what up? What's good, fellas? 2-3. Okay, 14 team half PPR redraft. Made trade before Sunday, sending Smith, Achane, Najee, and Ferguson for Tyreek. Okay, I love that. I love that. And it wound up working out for you because Achane got hurt.
Yep.
Najee hasn't been doing jack. Ferguson is a good tight end, but
not a needle mover.
To give
at
up
that position.
Yep. You're not giving up much for it. I love it. That's an awesome trade. And in 14 team, especially if that team needed the depth, like that's how you're able to get something done like that,
So really quick, now that I'm seeing this, I was actually offered a trade. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but for Tyreek Hill. And I'm considering it, kind of go back and forth. Nothing's been put on the table, but I am considering a trade for Tyreek Hill potentially in one of my leagues. So it's interesting. Tyreek Hill is
you getting Tyreek Hill or giving up Tyreek Hill?
Giving
up Tyreek Hill. Okay.
Yeah, so it's interesting because Tyreek Hill is worth a boatload. Even in Dynasty, he's worth a boatload. So yeah, I'm kind of in a similar situation where I'm thinking about what to do with Tyreek Hill.
New lineup is Geno, Cheetah, Chase, DJ Moore, Rice. Damn. Okay. Kyron, Brees, JT, Mitchell, Charbonnet, Thomas. Did I just win my league? I mean, DJ Moore's not going to score 50 every game, but um, I mean, I love the team. I mean, you got Gino, Cheetah, Chase. This was the 14 team, right? Oh yeah, 14 team.
And
So that's good. Okay, guys, I can understand Rice then 14 team. I
mhm.
was kind of like, wait a second, Rice. But yeah, you got Kyron, Brees, JT. Yeah, I mean, you're in awesome position. I mean, it looks like you have a really good shot at winning the league. Just seeing your team. You've got some heavy hitters, and it's a 14 team. So I mean, DJ Moore's your wide receiver 3. I'm sure that looks a lot better than some other teams' wide receiver 3s. So
Yep.
you know, I like it, man. I like it. Not bad. Not bad. M. Dave, what up? 420 bros. Lost Connor and my remaining RBs are Saquon, Bijan, and Brees. I mean, fuck Connor if you got that. You got those RBs. Should I drop
Mhm.
Charbonnet or Ferguson to pick up Foreman, Spears, Osborne, Samuel, or DeMarcado? I have Go Dirt. I mean, yeah, you could drop Ferguson if you want. If you've got Go Dirt, who should you pick up? I mean, KJ will be good for a few weeks. I mean, I don't know about Foreman if I love that.
Spears has been interesting, man.
Spears has been good. Samuel has been good, and Demercado could be good now with the injury. So I would say between maybe those guys, I would pick up. Who would
It
you
also
take?
depends.
Would you take more? Really? I mean, I don't know. What do you need? What do you need, Dave?
Right, your running backs look pretty good, and it looks like Saquon's on his way back. But Bijan and Brees are going to hold it down. Brees looks like he's busting out and ready to just take off for the rest of the season. Here we go.
Josh Allen, Bijan, Saquon, Brees, Hopkins, Gabe, Connor, Goder, Higgins, Puka, Nico, Ferguson, Charbonnet. Any moves that I can make or stand pat? Bijan, Saquon, Brees. Fine there. Hopkins, Gabe, Connor, Goder, Higgins, Puka, Nico. I mean, shit. Oh, got Puka, you got Nico, you got Higgins. I mean,
Well,
maybe you
Higgins,
can. Go ahead.
yeah. I'm looking at a little bit of an upgrade here. Hopkins
Mhm.
had a fantastic game. Gabe Davis, we've trashed Gabe Davis, but he's been good this season. Like we gotta kind of just give love where it
He's
deserves to
been
be
good.
given.
Well, I spoke about not necessarily that I hate the play. I mean, I don't love him as a wide receiver, but what I most hated last year was just where he was
Boom or
being
bust.
drafted,
Yeah,
what you had to pay for him, like what his value was. This year, he was drafted where he was supposed to be drafted, and now
he's exceeded that.
he's cashing in on it. So like I said, he'll be a top 36 guy. Can he crack the top 24? We'll see. I mean, right now he's
He's got a
been
touchdown in
awesome.
four
So
straight games. So
that
it's
offense has
wild.
been good. I mean, the targets are hit or miss, but I mean, he's been scoring touchdowns, like you said, the last 4 games. Is that going to continue? We'll see. But yeah. So yeah, we
Yeah,
looking to upgrade here.
yeah. I would try and I like Puka for the rest of the season, even with Cooper Cup. Honestly, I think Puka could kind of maybe slot into that touchdown guy where Cooper Cup is dominating in between the 20s and Puka gets his work kind of in the red zone, which I like. And Matthew Stafford has looked really good. So I'm keeping Puka. I'm keeping Nico because CJ Stroud is fucking fantastic. I would try and package Hopkins and Gabe Davis and maybe see if I can get something there, especially Hopkins coming off the big game. Hopkins has actually been pretty good, not great, but pretty good considering that Tennessee. I was actually speaking to Bagalot this weekend when we were watching the games, and I was on the phone with him as I'm watching Red Zone, and he goes, "Bro, I hate watching the Tennessee Titans. They're so fucking boring." And I was thinking the same. I was like, "Yeah, I could see that." So Hopkins had the big game. Gabe Davis has been pretty good. I will look to package those guys and see if you can upgrade there.
Yeah, see who needs some wide receiver depth and see if you can get a little 2-for-1 there. Where we at? Okay, Germany. Yep, Germany, 4:16 in the morning. Damn.
Burning
You're
that
a
midnight
trooper.
oil,
You're a
bro.
trooper, brother.
Fuck yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Should I start Goff? What up, Foot Legends? Or Watson? Is Raheem and Laporta a must start? I'll let you take this, Hammer.
I'm taking Jared Goff. Jared Goff has been slinging it out there, even without Amon-Ra St. Brown. They scored
Anyway, I
42
didn't think that was
points.
going to happen. And
I
I
know.
took Stroud over Goff in a couple instances.
I know
Last
they played
game.
Carolina. I
Totally
know they
backfired.
I know they play Carolina, but Jared Goff is out there doing work. I'm starting Jared Goff here this week. Let me take a look at the matchup for the Lions.
It really doesn't even matter, to be
At
honest.
Tampa, that's fair. That's
Especially
fair.
with Watson and his arm. He's got an injury to his arm as
Yeah.
well. They don't even know if Watson's going to play, so you might as well.
And they're playing San Francisco, so no.
You might, yeah, just don't play. You're going with golf, man. I'm going with golf.
You're going with
itty-bitty
golf.
said golf. Yep. How do you rank these waiver?
Wait, go back.
Go
Back. We didn't finish the rest.
Oh, my bad. Is Raheem and Laporta a must start? My bad for Legends.
Yes, and yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Laporta was a must start after week 1.
Golf over Watson. Yep. How do you rank these waiver RBs? Foreman, Demercado, Jeff Wilson. We kind of just had the same thing. He has Roshan already. I think we said definitely not Foreman. You could let him roll. I don't. Maybe he gets goal line carries. I don't know. I just think Roshan is just a much better back. Foreman, they've activated now. He wasn't even active. They had Roshan active over him. So I don't really want much to do with Foreman. Demercado's tough because Ingram back or not? We don't know if that's going to be split or not. And then Jeff Wilson, he should be the guy after Mostert. So I'd probably like Jeff Wilson the best. And then Demercado and then Foreman. Do you think the same or you got a different
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat. Listen, if Jeff Wilson's active out of this option, I'm starting Jeff Wilson just because of the upside, the familiarity with that offense. Yeah, it would be Jeff Wilson here for me. And then pretty much the Cardinals running backs. Now the Cardinals haven't been terrible, so they're worth a look, but I think Jeff Wilson is the play here.
Caddy said that trade was Achin and Puka for Adams and Ramondre. Okay, I think that's a trade. I don't remember if we told you to do that or not. Did we tell you to do that one or not? I don't know. I don't remember if you listened or it just wound up working out.
The injury thing.
Oh yeah, I think we said to keep him, and you got Adams and Ramondre, I think. But it wound up working out, I guess, because Achin is hurt. But
the injury thing is always going to be the ultimate wild card.
Would you deal Waddle or Nico for Garrett Wilson and Stevenson? Probably not in redraft. I mean, I think I'd rather have Waddle or Nico, no?
Ramondre, the Patriots are a mess. And
I'm not even looking at Ramondre. Doesn't even matter. It's just I'm just looking at Garrett Wilson or Waddle or Nico. I'm not even. He doesn't matter right now.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson doesn't have the upside that Waddle or Nico have. So if you want to look at it from that standpoint, then the answer would be no.
Bayou, what up, brother? What's good, Bayou? I play the bottom 4 teams the next 4 weeks. Okay, awesome. So even better for you, bro. So
but I will say, don't sleep on that because if you expect a win, it's not going to happen. So just make sure that you make the right plays, especially in your flex positions. Don't count your wins before they happen because I've done that before and gotten burned, just like Steve did this week after he had DJ Moore.
Yep. Okay. That's because you had fucking Kittle, Chase, what's his name, Burrow, fucking Thielen, Kittle. Like it was bullshit. There was no fucking shot. Everybody went off.
That made me so happy.
And I put up fucking.
You did
160. Every other, yeah. I think, other than one other team, I would have beat everybody else in the league. But it just so happened I had to go up against that. So
that made me so happy.
But Marco said Claypool and Mooney, are they worth anything in redraft or dynasty? And should he drop them?
Claypool, I'm not touching. Mooney is an interesting play, but it's really DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. And Justin Fields' legs. I'm not touching Claypool. Mooney, I would maybe roster as one of my last bench spots. I'm not messing with Claypool.
So in redraft, no, I don't think they're really worth anything. Maybe Claypool could be a waiver wire pickup if he gets acclimated to the offense, but that's going to take weeks. Like I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. But when we are talking dynasty, I mean, Claypool is probably dirt fucking cheap. If I could buy him for our 4th, I'll do it just to fucking hold him and see if you can make a profit on him. I mean, he could be the wide receiver 3 over there in Miami. I mean, they like fast players. He's going to be one of those hit or miss guys, and he's probably not going to get a ton of snaps right now. But who knows what's going to happen? I mean, in the future, I'm okay with spending the 4th on just taking the chance and seeing what happens with Claypool, even if he just gains a little bit of value and you can sell him for a fucking 3rd, whatever. That works, right? Mooney, I do like in Dynasty, and I am trying to currently buy him in Dynasty leagues for a 4th round pick, a 3rd round pick. He will be a free agent next year. Does he get re-signed to the Bears? Probably not. Probably not, unless he takes a cheap contract there. But I think if he's got a chance to pick where he wants to go to actually have a role on a team somewhere, I mean, he's a good wide receiver, right? The Bills need wide receivers. The Chiefs need wide receivers. I mean, that's looking at best case scenario on the best squads. But I'm sure somebody out there has a role for Mooney, as a wide receiver too on some teams. So I do like him in Dynasty as a little dart throw. If you can get him thrown in a deal, or if you can buy him for cheap, I do like Mooney.
Yeah, Mooney would be the guy I prefer over Claypool. I think
sure.
at this point, Claypool is kind of developing a little bit of a reputation, especially if it doesn't work out. In where did he go? Miami. If it doesn't work out in Miami, now they have Braxton Berrios kind of as their wide receiver 3. So if it doesn't work out in Miami, he's pretty much over with. I do like Mooney, and I think he has higher upside here, even if he doesn't re-sign with the Bears.
Yeah. So Claypool will be a free agent after this year, so
that doesn't even matter to me, honestly.
Well, I mean, it just makes me not like him more because now some other team has got to somehow pick him up and
sign him to a deal.
Probably ain't gonna be worth it. So yeah, I do like Mooney, a cheap guy to try and buy now because you want to buy guys that are going to, increase in value or have a chance to increase in value, whether it's now towards the end of the season or whether that's over the offseason into next season. And Mooney is a guy that you can get for crazy cheap, just like last year when I told everybody to stash Nico Collins after the season or buy him for incredibly cheap. And look what he's doing now. Not saying that Mooney's going to do that, but it's just an example of how you can buy a guy for incredibly cheap at the right time. And then when he explodes, that's when you can, you can trade him for whatever you need to, or of course you can keep him. But yeah, Mooney's a guy that I kind of want to try and get on the low. Nick, would you trade Waddle for Hockenson in London?
I think I would, depending on what the rest of your roster looks like. Who's your current tight end? Do you have any other, wide receiver ones on your team? But just looking at it in a vacuum, I would say yes. Now, the weird thing, like Hockenson, yes, especially now with the JJ injury, you got to think Hawkinson's production is going to take a nice little bump. The weird thing about London, right, is the final stat lines have looked pretty solid, but it's like at the end of games when they're kind of in the hurry up and he's getting, a bunch of catches and a bunch of yards. I understand it all. Let me finish. But you were going to. I saw your face.
No,
I saw your face. You were about to explode.
I was. It doesn't matter. No, not on you. I just pissed off at the Falcons in general.
Do that during the game, right? Do that during the game because we've seen what he can do. So it is a little concerning that they only throw to him when it's kind of in that hurry up 2-minute offense, 4-minute offense, et cetera, et cetera. So there is some trepidation on London, but the fact that Hockenson is a needle mover at the tight end position, I would say yes. I do want to see the rest of the team, but I would lean yes.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I mean, it just goes to show you when they do throw the ball, what London can do. It's just so annoying that they just never do it. So,
hey, listen,
unless they're forced to at the end,
So something was brought up, obviously, with the Justin Jefferson injury. Kirk Cousins to Atlanta?
I mean,
I would love that.
There's a lot of rumors going around. I don't know what they're going to
for a second-round pick, maybe?
I mean, I don't think they're going to give it up right now, but maybe if we lose in the next couple of weeks, it's possible. I mean, I don't know. I mean, realistically, it would be the best case scenario. If we're losing anyway, fuck it. We might as well get a top pick and get the QB, right?
Right. And get a second round pick for Kirk Cousins.
If we can. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens within the next couple weeks, but I don't know. Zach said redraft, 1 QB, 2 RBs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 2 flexes. I have 4 Javonte Gibson, Ayuk, Amari, Puka-Nico, Hollywood, Godwin. What's a realistic trade I should try for running back? Ayuk, Amari, Puka-Nico, Hollywood, Godwin, MT. I mean, you got a bunch of wide receivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we're trying to make some kind of combination. So I mean, it's hard to say an actual running back, right? I kind of always say the same thing. Like you got to find the team that needs wide receivers and then attack and try and get that running back that they have instead of just picking out a particular running back because the team is not going to trade that running back if they don't have to, right? Or if they are not getting something that they need. So you got to find a team that needs some wide receiver help. I mean, JJ just went down. Maybe you go look at that team, right?
Mm-hmm.
See if he needs some wide receivers or what running backs that he has that might make sense to make a trade, right?
Yeah, for sure. And if you haven't seen it, we've said this on multiple occasions. Go check out our video on trades and trade strategies and that sort of thing because we outline different scenarios when you're trying to make trades, right? And especially in this particular situation where we're basically rolling into week 6, we got injuries, we got bye weeks, we got people who are looking for things, people who have, an excess amount of either really good running backs, really good wide receivers, a couple of good tight ends, quarterbacks, whatever. You want to target that team. And this is the point in the season where that makes the most sense is you want to target a team that maybe has a bunch of injuries for you specifically at the wide receiver position, maybe some underperforming guys at their position, and maybe they're looking to come off of buy low candidates, right? We talk about buy low candidates all the time. Maybe some guys that are injured that might be coming back pretty soon. So you want to take a look at those particular teams that need some wide receiver help.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's what we're doing. Brad said he has Purdy. Yeah, you got to start Purdy over T-Law right now.
Oh, yeah.
You got to.
Yeah.
Zach said he lost Chubb, by the way. QB's Mahomes, tight end is Kelsey. All right. I mean, it happens, Zach. It happens. That's all right. But you've got at least some good wide receivers that you can move to try and fix that. So
and a combination of guys.
Yeah. Sean Tucker for Keaton. I mean,
that's tough.
Tucker didn't get any snaps last week. I mean, and when he did, I mean, he's getting very limited work. So I'm okay with it if you think that Keaton's going to get on the field. The problem with that is he needs 2-3 injuries to get on the field. Tucker probably needs really only 1. I mean, or 2. I mean, you've got Vaughn that's been getting work now too. I think. Let me check out what Vaughn did. Let me see what. I mean, Keyshawn Vaughn basically was the next guy up. So yeah, if you like Keaton better and you think Keaton's going to do something, then fine. But they're both going to need injuries, I think, to do something. But I'm fine with it. Give me Keaton. I mean, it's a better offense anyway. So let's do it, Margo. What do you think, Hammer?
See, the problem with Keaton is I need to see it. I need to see more of it now. Like you talked about, 1 injury away. And this is something you harped on. And I talk about this pretty much every show, especially now that we're getting deeper into the season. 1 injury away is all you're looking for at this point, right? So Jeff Wilson, boom, now he becomes viable again. Achane, when those guys went down, become viable. So Jerome Ford, boom, he becomes viable. So if you're going to take the lesser of 2 evils, you'd rather take a guy that's 1 injury away rather than 2.
Chaser says, "Sup, is it time I start Jordan Addison? between him, Ayuk, and Brees Hall. I mean, I've been starting Jordan Addison.
I've been saying play Jordan Addison
I
from the
did it
rip.
on the donut week, and I fucking took the donut. We took the L, but that's all right. But yeah, I mean, Addison, Ayuk, and Brees. I mean, I'm not
That
playing
is
him
tough.
over Brees. I don't think. I don't know if I could do that. Can you play him over Ayuk with JJ down now? Yeah, I think you could. It's tough too, but I think
Like you
could.
said, if you have to make this decision, maybe combine these two guys and make a trade, right?
That's
Like,
true.
because all three of these guys are hard to bench. Ayuk to a lesser degree because there's just so many guys in that offense. But I think Brees, you're playing. Like, who are your other two running backs if Brees is at your flex? Like, that's what I need to know. What do you have? CMC and who's another running back? Eckler. Eckler's been out. So who's your other running backs? Mostert.
Crispy, thoughts on Brandon Powell? I did put him in my waiver wire pickup video for this week, so you can check that out if you want. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The guy came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, he's in the backfield. He's catching short passes. I mean, so in deep leagues, like I'm fine with picking up Powell, but not in like a regular 12-team redraft. It's tough. It's tough. I think you have to play in more of a deeper league to kind of play Powell.
It's so funny because in our home league group chat, you put a message in the thing and go, "Why the fuck is Kirk Cousins throwing to Powell instead of Addison or Hawkinson?" Or it was.
What the fuck is going on here? The fuck is Brandon Powell doing? Listen, he was decent. I mean,
it felt like he was everywhere.
Because he was like, yeah, he's catching punt returns, I think, too. I don't know. Gustavo, what up, brother? What's goody, man? Does Zach Moss currently RB6 and DK for Olave sound like a fair trade? Do you want to give up Zach Moss and DK to go get Olave?
Olave's been weird, man. He's a good buy low candidate, but he's been weird. Like
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if I'm in love with this. I like Olave, but I don't know, man. He's just Mike Thomas is holding him back. Honestly, the targets that Michael Thomas is getting is just holding Olave back because every time Derek Carr throws the ball, I'm like, yeah, it should be Olave. And 8-9 times a game, it's Michael Thomas. I'm just like, bruh.
Well, I mean, I would argue that Michael Thomas isn't taking away targets. I would argue the last 2 weeks has been, the injury to Carr because the first 3 weeks, Olave was 10 targets, 11 targets, 11 targets. So I would argue that for the last 2 games as to why Chris Olave hasn't really produced or got as many targets.
Yeah, but Mike Thomas is still getting the targets.
Well, I mean, it is what it is, but I don't think it's necessarily taken away because it didn't take away the first 3 weeks. And Michael Thomas had more targets. First 3 weeks, he had 8, 9, and 9. So Olave was out targeting him even on his most targeted games. Last 2 games, he had 6 and 7. So he tied with Olave 1 game and had more 1 game. So
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Anyway, I mean, I'm with you on for this particular question. I don't like it either because I think you're fine with DK. I don't know if I want to give up Moss as well. He might be good for the next few weeks. I mean, I don't know how much. I mean, you could make this trade, but I think DK is going to be fine.
I think the difference between DK and Olave at the end of the season isn't going to be a big enough difference for you to give him up and give up Zach Moss because we talked about this before. Like, listen, we understand that Jonathan Taylor is back. He has the contract, et cetera, but, you're one injury away from Zach Moss being the guy again, and we've seen he's been productive. And I think even in a complementary role, he can still be productive if he gets 8-10 touches a game. So especially maybe some goal line work, et cetera. So I don't like this. I think I'm keeping Zach Moss and DK here.
Yeah, I think I will as well. Unless you can tier up higher than Olave, I would say. If you could tier up to the next tier, then I'd do that. Perry, what up? Trade Stevenson, Puka for Kamara or Mixon. I could go either. I'm desperate for RB2. Trade Stevenson and Puka. I'm not doing that. For Kamara or Mixon, I'm not trading Puka for those. I don't think. I know you
Kamara's
might be in need, but shit, man, do we want to give up Puka for Kamara or Mixon?
Kamara's been interesting since he's been back. He's been pretty good. He got 22 carries last week. He had 14 targets the week before in the passing game. So I think Kamara is a low end RB1 for the rest of the season. So if you're desperate, I wouldn't mind it for Kamara. I wouldn't give up both of them. I mean, Blanc, you said earlier, Stevenson doesn't matter in any of these conversations.
Well,
So
I mean, he does, but in certain ones, he does. He's not pushing the, what do you say, moving the needle.
Right. That's it. Moving the needle. There you go.
You know?
Yeah, if you're desperate, what are the rest of your wide receivers, right? Because if you got like Chase and, I don't know, if you got Chase and Devontae or Chase and Cup, then I'm okay with this, right? So that the context generally matters.
Or what if you get Kamara plus and something else? Just something else, anything. I need something else to just make me feel better.
Okay.
See if you could throw in anything on his bench, another backup running back. What should I do with Brandon Cooks? I mean, yeah, you can't really play him right now. I'm okay if you drop him.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad. It looks like Michael Gallup is getting more run than Brandon Cooks, which is really disappointing because I think Brandon Cooks was taken, obviously way ahead of his value right now.
All right, guys, we're gonna answer questions for another few minutes, and then we're gonna get into some of the dynasty stuff before we get out of here. AJ, do you think Demercado or Jeremy Hill worth the #1 waiver? I'm 5-0, but RBs aren't the best, but don't want to waste the #1 on no scrubs.
Good song, TLC. Check it out. No scrubs if you haven't heard it.
I mean, to be fair, they're both scrubs because they're not starting running backs in the NFL, but they are in the NFL, so I don't want to say they're actual scrubs. But technically, for fantasy wise, they are scrubs that now have an opportunity to not be scrubs. So who's going to be the scrub and who's not going to be the scrub here, Hammer?
Well, Justice Hill, again, I was on the phone. So our other cohort who's not really here, but he's actually in Kentucky working, doing his work. And I'm on the phone with him on Sundays and we're just watching the games talk. Justice Hill was out there actually like really making plays and doing work. I think I'm going to take Justice Hill here just on volume and potential ability. If you're 5-0, does it really does it move the needle? There we go. Does it move the needle that much for you? Probably not. And how do you have the #1 waiver if you're 5-0? It's probably the last waiver, no? Or his #1 waiver.
It could be random. It could be, I don't know.
I'd rather take a chance. Yeah, it'll probably be Justice Hill for me. But this is also a 50-50 proposition. But Justice Hill looked pretty good when I saw him. Maybe not the production-wise, but just out there making plays, making moves, running hard, et cetera, et cetera.
At 7 for 32, 4 targets, 4 catches, 13 yards. So he was decent. I mean, it's just that Gus is just getting more. Gus is getting more of the groundwork. He's getting more of the, the carries in between. And then at the goal line, it could be either or. That's the tough part, is like it could be either one of those guys. Like, so I don't know.
Yep.
Demercado's risky as well, but we don't know what's happening with Ingram. But I mean, Ingram did have the neck injury, so if Gus Edwards go down, then it's Jeremy Hill on a pretty good offense. So look at it both ways, but Demercado could be getting pass catching work. I'm going to go with Demercado because of the chance that he can play immediately, like this week.
There's nobody really in his way per se.
He would be a better play than Hill, especially if Ingram doesn't play. So, I mean, but not by much. 12-team PPR redraft. How's my team? Fields, Stroud, Hall, CMC, Najee, Roshan, Mitchell, Nico, Waddle, DK, Scary, Terry, Atwell, Hunter Henry, Musgrave, Lions, D, and Moody. Got Fields and Stroud, Hall and CMC. Roshan, Nico Waddle, DK, Scary Terry. I would say you're probably wide receiver. Like you have Nico and Waddle and DK. Like Waddle hasn't produced, right? Scary Terry's been trash. Atwell, I'm sure, was getting you by before. So maybe you could upgrade at wide receiver. Maybe trade Scary Terry and Waddle or Scary Terry and DK or something like that. Maybe get a little tier up or something. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. You got Najee's not really worth that much, but if you could try and package him to somebody who's desperate at running back, then you might be onto something.
Just wide receivers have Brees, Demont, James Cook. Yeah, I mean, I try and get any one of those guys as an RB2 is fine. You probably can't get Brees, and Monty's been real good. Maybe get James Cook for the low.
Jacobs looks like
maybe
a good play.
Maybe you could get Jacobs or Kamara. I mean, maybe Henry's cheap because he hasn't been like great, but Gibbs rest of the season. What do you think?
Gibbs is tough. They're gonna run Monty, and I talked about this in previous episodes where they want to protect Gibbs, man. David Montgomery is a little bit of a more, obviously he's a veteran running back, and they want to protect Gibbs. It's just that simple. I think we expect these rookie, especially high draft pick running backs to come out and just be dominant. He's in a much different situation than Bijan, right? Like Bijan is the guy. Monty is the guy in Detroit, and they actually have high aspirations. They're probably going to win that division. They're probably going to, win a playoff game or two. So they're going to roll with Monty. So you can't really run Gibbs out there on a week in, week out basis. If you're desperate, maybe in the hopes that he gets a touchdown, but hold on to Gibbs, especially if you're in Dynasty. Have some patience. If you're in redraft, you can package him if somebody's a Lions fan or desperate or something like that. But don't expect Gibbs to kind of have that Bijan role.
Oh, he's kind of like a backendish RB2. So you just got to hope he gets in the end zone. He hasn't been able to get in the end zone, and he hasn't been able to turn his catches into much yardage. Like that's kind of been the big thing. Like, so you just hope that he gets some better targets going forward. Back to the Waddle for Hawk. He's got Chase, Diggs, and Tank Dell. Okay, so yeah, that's even better. That's an awesome trade there. Gustavo said, "Happy birthday! How was your birthday? Did you party it up?" Yeah, he partied it up. He was fucking missing all week. I was out here by myself.
So here's the thing. My birthday fell on a Wednesday, so my wife took me out for dinner, just me and her. I had the most amazing steak I've ever had, probably. It was so amazing. We went to a steakhouse, and then because it was on a Wednesday, not a lot of people could go out or whatever. So over the weekend and through the weekend, I was at this person's house, at that person's house, etc. So at 35 years old, I'm not quote unquote partying it up, but I did see family, did see friends, etc. So yeah, it was a pretty good week overall. Gustavo, I appreciate you kind of asking that question, but yeah, it was definitely a good week.
Left us hanging. So
Steve doesn't care about anything else.
But whatever. Happy birthday.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care about me.
But happy birthday. Waiver, Gus Hill or Demercado. Go with Demercado because he could probably give you the most upside if Ingram doesn't play.
Yeah, I mean, Gus Edwards is. I don't have a problem with Gus Edwards.
I don't either, but I think I just want to go for the upside.
Yeah,
you can get more touches, right? Bogey was good. Jay, what up, Jay? Where are we? Fight Queen in the building. What up, Fight Queen? Appreciate you. Yeah, he's still going to be limited. I think it's going to take a few weeks for him to get ramped up. So
for sure.
Scrub is a guy. Gets no love from me.
There it is.
Looks like he's fading the whole backfield. So keep on hammering. All right, let's get into some rebuilding tips. some rebuilding strategies. What should you look to do if you have to rebuild? If you are 0-5, if you are 1-4, and your team is just not going to cut it, you're looking at the points for, right? And you see you're kind of on the bottom. You know that you kind of don't have a chance, and it's time to rebuild, right? So the first thing, just mentally, is you kind of just have to understand what you're going to do, understand the direction you're going to go in, and commit to it, right? Don't half-ass it. You've got to commit to it. So if you've got to rebuild, you've got to commit to it. I would say that's kind of the most important part is, realizing what you need to do, and then start to kind of put together a plan, right? So Hammer, what do you think, I guess, would be one of the first things that we should be doing if you know that you have to rebuild and you're ready to commit to it and do it? I mean, what are we looking at? What are we trying to do first? What's the kind of one of the first things we should do?
Well, the first thing you should do is analyze the structure of your league, right? Are you in Superflex? Are you in one quarterback? Are you in, 3 wide receiver? Like the structure of the league is kind of going to determine what your plan is going to be. Now, the one thing, and we've done a ton of roster reviews, right? And a lot of guys that we've seen that said they were in rebuild, they ended up trading guys like Justin Herbert and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, right? We've seen a ton of that. Now, while I'm not a big fan of that, if you can assure yourself a 101 pick, then you can entertain it. But you want to at least have 1 or 2 of those foundational pieces in place. A Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase, right? You need something to build around, right? A house doesn't sit on itself. It sits on a foundation, and you're building a house. So you want to set yourself up with a foundation. So that's one of the things that I'm looking at early on is, do I have the foundational pieces? If I don't, if I have the Mike Evans, if I have the Keenan Allens, if I have the Derrick Henrys of the world, then I'm okay with coming off those guys. If I have the Jamar Chases and the Justin Jeffersons and the Justin Herberts and the Joe Burrows, I'm not coming off those guys. Honestly, I'm not doing it. And I don't want to say regardless, but 98% of the time, I'm not coming off those foundational guys, because those are the guys you're trying to get as foundational pieces. So that's one of the first things I want to look at is, number 1, the structure of the league. And number 2, do I have any of those foundational pieces already in place?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, once you figure that out and find that out, now we've got to start to break it down. We've got to, get assets out of the players that we have, right? So we're looking at, first off, our running backs, right? We need to get rid of all running backs. Get rid of everybody. I don't care. You sell them for thirds, you sell them for fourths, even the shitty guys, if you can, right? You got to get rid of your running backs. If you have good running backs, if you have like an asset in your running backs, like CMCs or I don't want to say Breece Hall because he's one of the guys you don't want to get rid of. But the Austin Eckler's, like any of those older guys, right? And at wide receiver too, you need to get rid of all of your older players and all of your running backs. Those are kind of the first 2 things that you need to try and start doing. And you can go after draft capital, and you can go after young players. You can go after players that are not producing right now, guys that don't have as much value. Go ahead.
So I have a question for you in this, in talking about selling older players, right? Most of the times, if you're like you said, if you're in just a 12-man team and you're 10, 11, 12, right? And you have the Keenan Allens, the Mike Evans, the Derrick Henrys, the Kirk Cousins, etc. If you are trading to teams that are in the top 4, do you want that draft capital anyway? Because it'll be back end. That's kind of the question that I started thinking about, is like, you're probably going to get a back end one anyway, somewhere in the 8 to 12 range. Are you still taking that for those guys?
Yes, because number 1, you don't know where that pick is going to land. It could be anywhere from the 107 to the 112, right? So at the 107, 18, you were still getting guys like Jordan Addison, right? Quentin Johnston, Zay Flowers. You were getting guys in that range. It's not a terrible range in super flex leagues, right? One QB is a little bit different. The value is much different. So, that's a different conversation. But yeah, if you're taking, I'm fine with taking the back end ones, because not only that is where you don't know what it's going to be. the pick is an asset that's going to retain its value and grow in value as we get closer and closer. So that's an asset that's going to continue to grow and become a bigger asset. And it's just going to give you flexibility, because it doesn't matter really if it's late. If I have an early one now and maybe I have a couple seconds, can I use that late first and a few of my seconds to now move up a few slots in the draft, right? It just gives you flexibility to kind of do what you want to do or do what you need to do in that time, right? So that's what I would say about that. Even if it's a late pick, like, I'm fine with it. If you can get it first for Keenan Allen, I mean, fuck yeah, I don't give a shit if it's, the best team in the league and I know it's going to be the 112. I mean, that's fine, because you're not going to get a first from anybody else, right? So you've got to then come off for pennies on the dollar. So, find a team that needs them, and then, that's how you come off of them. So your older players, look to sell those to the teams that are competing, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be willing to spend some of their draft capital or spend some of their younger assets, right? JSN is not producing right now. He's kind of fallen down a little bit in dynasty rankings. Can you give up an older player and get him? Garrett Wilson if he's on a team that's contending, that guy might want a more stable asset, whether it's, maybe you have a Stephon Diggs, right? Or a Cheetah, right? Can you go now and trade for Garrett Wilson straight up, where typically you probably have to pay on top? Typically it would be like Diggs and a second if you want to go and get a Garrett Wilson, or Diggs and a first to go and get a Garrett Wilson. Like, that's what typically it would cost if things were, all in all, where he still had Aaron Rodgers and all that, but that's not the case. So now, maybe they make that move, okay, I'll give up Garrett Wilson if I'm going to get Stephon Diggs. I'm contending right now. Okay.
And that's an interesting point that you're bringing up, because Aaron Rodgers is coming back next year.
Hopefully.
Well,
I hope he does. I really do hope he does.
No, I think he will. I think he will. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to go out kind of like that. And to be honest with you, the fact that he got hurt this year makes me think he's going to play the next 2 years with the Jets, right? Because this is essentially a lost season. He wanted to play 2 for sure, most likely 3. I think Aaron Rodgers is playing the next 2 years with the Jets after this season to give them those 2 seasons. So the Garrett Wilson thing is a really interesting buy if you're talking about somebody that has a Cheetah, a Diggs, a Devontae Adams, a Cooper Kupp. Like, all 4 of those guys you could kind of bundle in the same category if you're in that situation.
I mean, I've seen it. I mean, I've almost done it.
I'm on the verge of doing it, potentially.
No, I can't.
Not for Garrett Wilson, but there's.
You're on the verge of trying to get young players.
Yeah. I was thinking about it.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't, because I think your team is good enough to.
I agree. I
don't think it's time for that. And even if you don't win it this year, I think still the next 2 years that you have, enough juice. So that's what I would say about that. But it's your team. You do what you wish with it. But that's just my opinion there. But yeah, I mean, guys like JSN, guys like Quentin Johnson, guys that just aren't producing that, they
Drake
might
London
be
to a lesser degree.
Drake London to a little degree, right? They might be on teams that want production right now, and so they're more, able to kind of get rid of, or more willing to get rid of those kind of guys, right? I mean, if the worst teams in the league have Drake London and JSN, and like, they're not giving those guys up, right? So
that's the foundation.
Just have to make sure you pick, go after teams. I always say, like, not necessarily players. The players you can break up into tiers. They're all in tiers, right? So it doesn't necessarily matter, but you want to go after the team that has what you need, and you have what they need, right? So it's all got to make sense.
So are you, and to my initial point when you had asked the question about the rebuild, if you are in a rebuild and you have Herbert, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, guys like that, are you trading those guys in a rebuild?
I'm not trading those guys in a rebuild unless it's absolutely necessary. If I really assets and there's no way out, right? And I have to make that move. Otherwise, probably not. I mean, a lot of guys playing these, start 8, start 9, like, those leagues are just too small for you to trade any of those guys like that. You can't. even in start 10, it's rough to trade any of those guys like that. When you're talking start 11, start 12, where there's just more starters, then in those cases that, you're a lot more inclined to kind of break down some of those guys. But your team's got to be in really bad shape to want to get rid of any of those guys. There's not going to be JJs and Chases coming out every single year. I think we've just been so spoiled with the production right out the gate, which typically didn't happen until just a few years ago. It wasn't always like this, where these rookies are coming in and just straight up balling. But that's what's been happening nowadays, especially at the wide receiver position. So, it's more about, especially in Dynasty, like the process more necessarily than, the players, right? Just tearing down and trying to set yourself up, right? I mean, I keep speaking about earlier in the season, probably week 2 or week 3, I traded Waddle in 2 leagues. Godwin in the first, I got Pittman in the first in another league. And both of those are first round picks. First round picks. Both of those are the 101 right now. Both of those teams are 0-5 currently right now. Right. And it's just, I mean, I love the player Waddle, but if I'm getting assets on top of it and I can improve my team, then, that's what we need to do. So be okay with tearing down from players, not JJ and Chase. Let's keep those names out of it. Maybe CD as well. But other than that, to tear down from some players, to go down one tier and pick up an asset on top of that, I mean, that's what we need to be doing, especially if we're trying to rebuild. You want to gain assets. It doesn't matter if you've got 4 or 5 seconds. Like, that's what you want, because it gives you flexibility during the draft, right? It gives you flexibility during the season, as well, or the next season if you're picking up seconds for 2025. Or 2026. I mean, when you're competing, you use those seconds to buy some of those older players from some of those, from some of those teams that need to rebuild at certain points. So, and second round picks don't always hit, right? It's a low percentage hit rate, but it's not the point of the hit rate. It's the point of what they can get you, what the value of that is, and how you can buy some of these older guys when you're trying to compete, or when you are competing and you have injuries. Now you can go out and help yourself and buy some of these guys. That's why I don't love giving up my first round picks, because if shit hits the fan like it has in the subscriber league for me, like, I'm fucked. Like, I have no fucking way out, and it hurts. So, you just always have to be careful. The draft capital, the 3rd round picks, the 4th round picks, like, they mean a lot. And the people that don't think they mean anything are now the people paying 1st round picks for Puka Nacua when they could have had them for a fucking 4th round pick in the rookie draft, but they didn't think the picks were valuable, so they just gave them all away. Right.
And what's so interesting about that? What's so interesting about that is the picks don't mean shit now, right? They mean they mean virtually nothing now. So people are willing, especially in a 1 quarterback league, I'd be more apt to trade my 1st round pick, just because the value is obviously less. We're in our home Dynasty league is a 14-team league, 1 quarterback, so it's a little bit less value there for the 1st round pick. So it's so interesting that you say that, because as basically after the Super Bowl, and once March hits and we start seeing the combine shit, we start seeing all that shit, then everybody's scrambling to trade and get into the 1st round because they have no picks. So not only do the picks have value, but now you have leverage on those teams that don't have any picks, which is extremely important. So now, like you said, instead of somebody paying a 2nd round pick for a player, or a 2nd round pick for, the pick's value is increased. This person wants to get back into the 1st round. So now you can add that 1st round tax on top of whatever it would normally be. So the leverage is really important once we kind of finish off the Super Bowl and then get into the March, April leading up to the draft.
Once we get into that time, the young players start rising up the rankings, and the older players, nobody wants them, right? Nobody wanted Keenan Allen before the season.
Nope.
Right? Nobody wanted Amari Cooper, but then
Mike
when they're
Evans.
scoring points, or Mike Evans, right? But now they're scoring points, and now all of a sudden they're valuable. Like, it's crazy how the values change so much once we're in season and week to week, even with older players, how the values all just are crazy out of whack. And then what guys we really think are worth is just totally different once we get into the season, because now points are being scored and everybody values shit differently. Oh, JSN is trash, whatever. Now you could have him. So it's crazy interesting.
And that also leads to another really good point that I just thought of. Take advantage of the time of year, right?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
take advantage of the time of year. When your veteran players are worth more, and that's why in a lot of these scenarios that you guys ask us about, I'm okay with trading a Keenan Allen, right, for a lesser player and a pick. Because I know that Keenan Allen, there's a finite window to how productive he can be. And also his injury history that goes along with it, especially getting older. Once you're 30 plus, 31, 32, etc. Take advantage of the time of year when you're making these trades or rebuilding, I should say.
In one of my dynasties, I have Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper, and I haven't been able to trade them for nothing. And then after the explosion game, a couple guys were like, damn, I should have took that trade. So I try to get a couple young players with them. But now it's just rough. I can't get rid of them. I mean, I'm a contending team as of right now, but I'll probably just hold on to them and see what happens for the rest for the next few weeks before I, try and get rid of some of these guys. But it's tough because sometimes people won't pay for those older guys. They want to give you pennies on the dollar, which is why sometimes we say it's always better to get rid of them a year early than a year later, just because of the value, that you can get out of them. So, yeah. You got anything else to throw in there about any other tips for, we kind of hit everything that we want?
No, not really. I just think that it's really important to kind of have a little bit of a plan, especially with the older guys. Look at the teams, right? The teams that are at the top of the league, put guys on the trade block, see what's out there, see the maximum value you could get, especially with these older players like DeAndre Hopkins, right? Not only are we talking about season-long production, but we're talking about week-to-week production. So if you have an older player such as DeAndre Hopkins, who's maybe had some kind of average weeks or whatever, and then he explodes for a big week, capitalize on that big week, right? We talked about that with a number of different players, especially older guys as well. So DeAndre Hopkins goes out and catches 8 balls for 100 yards. See what you could get for him. Because I don't think that level of production, especially in that offense, is going to be sustainable.
Yeah. Is Debo worth going after? I don't love Debo. I mean, it's kind of hit or miss, but if you like him, go ahead. Otherwise, just somebody in that tier is fine, right? Somebody in that tier. Stroud or T-Law, Flowers or Kirk?
It's Stroud at this point. Flowers and Kirk are kind of even. I think Flowers has less competition because Bateman is trash and OBJ can't stay on the field.
Zay Jones got hurt again.
That's fine, but they still have ETN. They still have Ingram. They still have your boy Calvin Ridley. Give me Flowers here.
My boy. Who are they playing? Let me pull up the.
I got you. Who's playing?
Who are the Texans playing? Who's Stroud playing?
Houston. I don't think it matters at this point, to be honest.
I don't think it does either, but I just want to know.
Home against the Saints. That's interesting.
Okay, and T-Law versus
at home against Indianapolis. Colts are 3-2, man. It's Stroud.
Yeah, I guess. Fuck it. Whatevs. All right, it's Stroud. Watch this now. T-Law's gonna go off. And then Flowers. Who's Baltimore playing?
At Tennessee in London.
Yeah, give me Flowers. That's close though. But give me Flowers. Jets should trade for Kyler. Yeah, all these
they're not going to do
reports
that
now that Kyler. It looks like Kyler's not going to go back to the Cardinals. I don't know what happened.
They're
I
not doing
heard
that.
some report like he ghosted them or something, so now they don't want.
See, the problem, PB, the problem with that is it's really twofold. Number one, for whatever reason, they show this unmitigated waiver for Zach Wilson for whatever reason, but forget about Zach Wilson. Aaron Rodgers is going to be there next season and the season after, potentially. Also, the Jets can't afford Kyler's contract with Aaron Rodgers on the books. That's not happening. Kyler Murray to Atlanta, I love that.
James Cook's not producing as expected. I wouldn't cut bait. No, I mean he's a decent RB2.
No. Not in that offense. No.
Wouldn't cut bait though. Huss in the building. Ace Sports, what up?
Ace, what up?
It needs to be said, just your rebuilding doesn't mean you have to take shitty trades. I see it. Oh, no,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you don't want to make shitty trades. If you're rebuilding, you want to make good trades that help your team. It doesn't make sense to make shitty trades. You're just putting yourself in a hole that you're not going to be able to get out of. So it's important to, when you're selling your assets, make sure that you're getting, good pieces
Top
in
dollar,
return, right?
Yeah.
So, when I sold the guys that I sold, like Waddle and all that, like, I got good shit in return, that's going to pay off, at least that I feel like, and then of course selling all your running backs, right? The Zach Mosses, the Ingrams, the Demercados, right? Sell those guys for thirds, for fourths, just to, take anything for it. But yeah, I would never, I don't, you definitely don't want to make shitty trades for sure. You can't be doing that. But tear downs, are perfectly fine. Just make sure you're doing it right. I mean, but yeah, definitely don't want to make no shitty, any shitty trades. Is there a shitty trade that comes to mind, Huss? Throw it out there in the chat so we can assess the shitty trade. But Nico Collins, DJ Moore, what up, Anthony?
Is that a question?
I guess so.
Fuck DJ Moore. Give me Nico Collins. Fuck that cocksucker, DJ Moore. I played him.
You gotta play. It's close, but I think I might have to play DJ.
Yeah, let me look at the matchups.
And we're gonna get into this roster review in a minute here, and it kind of fits kind of what we were talking about. So we'll try and give a couple ideas. My opponent had no one left to play. Had Josh Jacobs to go last night. Lost by 0.4.
Josh Jacobs had a decent night. Like he had a touchdown. I think he had 70 yards, 69 yards, and a touchdown.
What's up, Sam? Appreciate you, man. Anthony said Nico, DJ, and Alex Singleton for Brandon Ayuk, CJ Mosley, Jesse Bates, and Hyatt. Trade in Dynasty. Which side would you take? Nico, DJ Moore, and Singleton for Ayuk, Mosley, Jesse Bates, and Hyatt.
So this looks like an IDP league.
Yeah, Jesse Bates, Hyatt, Jesse Bates, CJ Mosley, Alex Singleton. Ayuk.
See the IDP stuff, I'm not heavy on it. Obviously, we have a home league IDP, so there's some involvement there. But I know those linebackers, man, if you're in a heavy IDP league, those linebackers matter. So this is a tough question for me to answer.
I'll tell you now, we're going with the Nico and DJ Moore side. The value is on that side. I like Brandon Ayuk, but I mean Jalen Hyatt, I'm not a huge fan of. He doesn't really mean much in this trade. And you're basically splitting Singleton into Mosley and Bates. And Mosley, I think, is an older player as well. So I mean, Jesse Bates has been good, but I don't think I want to split up Nico and DJ for that. I don't think I want to do that. Can you just go spend cheaper? If you're looking for a DB, can you somehow go spend cheaper for a DB, or trade a pick for, maybe a team that's not contending? Maybe they have an older kind of vet that you can buy or something like that. But yeah, I hope you're on the Nico DJ Moore side. I think I want to stay on that side. I'm not taking Ayuk.
Nico has a really high upside right now. His arrow is pointing up. DJ Moore as well, based on what we've seen from Justin Fields in the last couple of games. So there's those arrows are pointing up. Ayuk, I feel like, is kind of like in the middle somewhere. Like he's just kind of, his value fluctuates from week to week depending on what he does, right? Week 1, he goes out, balls out. The next couple of weeks, he kind of just has average production. So I would lean Nico and DJ side as well.
The fact that you can get a first plus for Nico and a first plus for DJ Moore, I just like the value way too much to spend one of those guys like that to get some defensive guys. Appreciate you, Anthony. I got Mahomes, Bijan, Saquon, ETN. Any changes?
4-1.
I mean,
right.
can you tier up if you can? Maybe that would be the only thing. Who do I try and sell out of Walker, Jacobs, Kyron, and Mostert?
I'm leaning Kyron and Mostert here. Walker is your RB1. It looks like Jacobs is starting to pick up the pace. So yeah, it would be Kyron and Mostert I would be trying to sell.
Mm-hmm. Problem, Anthony. All right, we're gonna get into this roster review real quick. Carl, what up, Carl? First time caller of the backwards hat, asking for Francis Pacheco going to be a top 10 finisher in points at the end of the season.
At the RB position?
Yep.
That's tough. I had Pacheco at my home league redraft, and he's been a pleasant surprise, I'll be honest with you. It looks like CEH has kind of taken a backseat to Pacheco, with McKinnon kind of in that second spot. So, Carl, I really like Pacheco. I don't know if he's going to be a top 10, but he's definitely low-end RB1, high-end RB2. Let me just check what he is right now in what his ranking is. Pacheco is currently RB13. He's number 50 overall. So for the running back ranking, as I said, low-end RB1, high-end RB2. He's currently 13. I think that's a good place for him to finish, between 13 and 15. So 3 straight games with a touchdown. I think he's in that top 15 range. Top 10 is going to be tough.
Not finishing top 10.
He's been good, man. He's been good.
No, he's been good, but I don't think he's
not great.
I don't think he's finishing top 10. I mean, don't forget, you still got Joe Mixon right there, right? Henry, Cook. I just got hurt, but Breece Hall is going to be on the come up right now. I mean, there's still some guys that are going to want to get up there. Eckler that are just not going to allow Pacheco to get top
15 though. 15 is.
I think that's possible, but that's even still. I mean, a little bit of a stretch for me, but he could for sure. Because I'm sure after like RB12, after like RB12, it's kind of a crapshoot after that between a bunch of guys. So, yeah, he could definitely. Do you think trading Brian Robinson and Godwin for James Cook is too much? Yeah.
B-Rob's been good, man.
B-Rob's been pretty good. Godwin, I mean, we got Evans out right now. I think I'd want to go for a little bit higher than James Cook. I mean, maybe straight up Godwin for Cook if you like have good wide receivers, but I wouldn't do both, right?
No, that's a lot of work. Jamie, been a minute.
What up, Jamie? Appreciate you, bro. Just got done with your podcast. All right, awesome. Good shit, bro. Should I trade Waddle for K9? Yeah, if you need a running back, I'm fine with it. Always going to be kind of the 1A, 1B kind of, I don't know about take away a lot, but it's kind of a splitish backfield. But Mostert's still the man, no?
No, Mostert will most definitely be the guy. I could see it being more of a 70-30 split just to kind of keep Mostert fresh. If you have Mostert, you're firing him up regardless if Jeff Wilson's playing or not.
Team Money said, it's an 8-man. So, yeah, we're definitely going. Just go get K9. Just go get him. Yeah, you need a running back. Go get him.
Mhm.
Go get him. All right, let's pull up this team here. So I got it. It's in keep trade cut right now. So we've got the whole league that we're going to be able to look at here. But let's give it some context, and hopefully y'all can see that. I kind of tried to zoom in as best as I can. Can you see that, Hammer?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Just read off the team real quick as I go into. Let me find the questions and all this that he had answered for me.
So the quarterbacks are WTF, meaning what the fuck? Malik Willis, Tyler Huntley. What is that real?
Yeah, we're gonna be we're in the process of tanking, rebuilding. So it was a rebuilding team. That's why I asked for it. So yeah, and it's super flex. So super flex, 12 team.
My heart skipped a beat. If this was a one quarterback league, I would be worried. But this is super flex, and you have Malik.
Yep.
Who are you running out there? Are you getting zero at the
Yep.
quarterback position at this
Yeah,
point?
basically. Okay. So go ahead, read off the team, and then I'll explain.
My heart hurt for a second. Sorry, Jesus Christ. Quarterbacks, nobody. Wide receivers, Jordan Addison, Drake London, Jameson Williams, Dotson, Reed, Wilson, Burks, Moore, Calvin Austin, Mooney, Wicks, Parker. Running backs, Charbonnet, Moss, Hill, Dowdle, Brown, Mitchell, Hull, Breida. Tight ends, Sam Laporta, Okonkwo, McBride, Likely. Nothing else.
Yeah, so this is Super Flex League. We've got no QBs. So let me ask a bunch of questions. So this is how we
This is
this
rough,
is apparently
man.
how we got here.
Wait, hold on. Okay, go ahead. I see a lot of first round picks, but
he said he started the startup draft. He went bet heavy with hopes of winning, and it wasn't long after. He just started playing Dynasty. He drafted a bunch of veteran guys, and now he had to sell a bunch, and now this is kind of how he ended up with this team. So passing touchdown is 4 points. He's hardcore rebuilding. Strategy with the current team is to lose out this season for the second straight year, have no starting QBs or running backs, so that has made it easy to lose. But that's what I wanted to do since the running backs obviously age the worst typically, and to guarantee losing, having no QBs in a super flex, was a good way to do it. As of now, his idea is to take Caleb Williams with the 101. Hopefully he can walk away with Marvin Harrison Jr. as well. If the other first is top 3, which it should definitely be top 5. So if I need to, I will trade up. League started in 2021, very new to Dynasty, finished last place that season. Last season, I would say the league overall values picks for the most part. Contending teams trying to be elite might be a little different, but it seems as it's easier to trade picks in this league. So that's just a little context as to what's going on here. So he's got some good young wide receivers, right? Jordan Addison, Drake London, J-Mo, Jahan Dotson, Jaden Reed, Michael Williams, Burks, Elijah Moore. And then he's got like Calvin Austin, Mooney, who we actually talked about a little bit earlier, Wicks, and Devontae Parker. So I would say, it sucks. Obviously, you have no QBs, but you did what you were supposed to, I guess, at the running back position, right? You pretty much gave up, whoever you had before, and now you've got all these backup guys. So I would say don't stop here at the running backs, right? Trade Zach Moss right now for a second or a third if you can, right? Charbonnet, maybe you can trade him to the K9 owner, for a pick, right? For a second round pick.
Trade Moss to the JT owner.
Right. Maybe you can trade Moss to the JT owner. The rest of the guys you're probably not going to be able to trade unless an injury happens and they actually get, some playing time. But just looking at the tight end position, Likely, Washington, Woods, Hurst, and Smythe, throw them up on the trade block. If you can get a 4th round pick, take it. If not, just fucking drop them. You might be able to get something for Likely, but there's no reason. You don't need all of those tight ends. Pick up another bunch of backup running backs that are an injury or 2 away from playing a game that you can wind up getting the 3rd round pick for, right? So that's what I would say about the tight end position. If you want to keep Laporta, Okonkwo, and McBride, okay, just depending what running backs are out there, I'm okay with, trading McBride or Okonkwo. You have Laporta, so, He's going to be the tight end that you're going to play. So,
Yep.
would you say anything else other than that, or do you agree or disagree with anything I said about the running back position or the tight end position?
Do me a favor really quick. Just scroll down on the draft capital because it's not aligned with all the 2020. There we go. Because
yeah, the way that they have it, it's not all aligned.
got
but
it.
he's got his first, and he's got another that should be top 5, possibly top 3. And then he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 2024 seconds, a 2024 third, and he's got 1, 2, 2 fourths.
Okay. So with that 2024 first, he's going to take Caleb, right?
Yes.
Now
That's going to solve one QB position. But
right.
Anyway, go into the running backs and tight ends, and then we'll go into everything else.
Yeah, the running backs and tight ends I'm fine with. I'm keeping Sam Laporta.
Of course.
He's the dude. He's amazing. He's going to be. I said at the beginning of the season he was going to be amazing. Once I saw the first couple of games, I said he's going to be a top 5, possibly top 3 by the time the season's over. Keep Sam Laporta. I'm not saying he's the next Kelsey, but he's going to be in the top 5-ish for the next few years going forward. So keep Sam Laporta. He's going to give you an advantage at that position. The running backs I'm fine with. The key is the target, right? Target the team. You said it. Target the K9 owner. Target the JT owner. Justice Hill, Dowdle. You're not going to get a ton for that. Wide receivers, you're okay, but you're not great. So what I would potentially do is I would try and combine 2 or 3 of these guys and go out and see if you can get an upside guy. If you're going to take Caleb at the 101. I don't know what those other first round picks are going to be, or it's just one other first round pick, which is yours.
Yeah, 2 first. So he'll have the 101, and then he'll have a top 5, possibly top 3. So,
okay. So you probably maybe you get Marvin Harrison.
That's what he's aiming for, and he said he'll trade up. If he has to trade up, he'll trade up. So we'll see what happens at that time.
Which it looks like he has the capital to do.
Has some capital to. They should be able to move up.
So
and some young guys too.
So I would look at maybe do you go and buy low on a Kyler Murray? Would you do that to solidify that? Caleb and Kyler?
Yeah, depending what he costs, and we'll take a look at some of the teams. We'll take a look at some of these other teams here as well. The only one thing I would say about the wide receivers is, the Drake London, Jamison Williams, Jahan Dotson, Jaden Reed, Michael Wilson, Burks, Elijah Moore, is that all of these guys, I feel like we need to wait until the time is right. Like they still have, they can gain value. And, that's what I like about the wide receivers that you have here is that they have a good chance to gain value, towards the end of the season here. And then, of course, in the off season. And I think at that time might be, an easier time to try and maybe make some moves. But we can definitely look at some of these other teams here. So let's take a look at, what'd you say, Kyler Murray?
Yep.
Let's see who's got Kyler. Trevor, Sam, Tua, and Darnold. No. Well, let's just take a look at who's got some QBs in general. No. Dak, Pickett, Carr.
How many teams? 12?
Yeah, 12 teams. Mahomes, Purdy, Mac Jones. No, we don't want that. Kyler, Sam Howell, and Desmond Ridder.
That team might. Yeah.
Rebuilding team, it looks like they're going to be probably, Sam Howell, Ridder, Brees. JSN, Nico, Terry, QJ. It's going to be tough to probably get Kyler. It's going to be tough. Probably have to give up like Addison in the first.
Which, at that point, we still don't even know where Kyler's going to be.
It's probably the cheapest that you're going to be able to get him right now, if you could get him. I just don't know. With that QB room, I don't know if this guy's going to want to just come off of Kyler without getting a QB back, right?
Right.
Herbert, Love, Daniel Jones, no. A-Rich, Deshaun Watson, Geno, Russell.
This might be
A-Rich is going to cost an arm and a leg. It's not really even. Maybe you sneak away Watson here. I mean, Watson hasn't played great, right? This guy still got Geno. We still got Russell. Joe Burrow, Baker, Dobbs, no. Bryce Young could be a target right here. This guy's got Stroud. This guy's got Stroud and Fields,
and
along with Bryce and Goff. I mean, you're rebuilding. I'd like to try and get Young. He's going to be a lot cheaper than Stroud is. This guy's probably playing Stroud
and
Fields right now,
or
Goff in some kind of combination.
But
I'd inquire both Stroud and Young.
Yep.
So these are all right. So Stroud, Young, Watson. Right. Stroud, Young, and Watson are going to be the guys maybe that we can go after here, right? Boom. This guy's got Kenneth Walker. You've got Charbonnet, so that could be a piece maybe he's looking to get.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be something we can add on top. He's got Cheetah, Garrett Wilson, Tank Dell, Mike Evans, Jonathan Mingo, Palmer.
That's a good team.
Okay. Mingo could be a decent guy to go after. You know,
Tank Dell as well.
Maybe can we give up like Addison plus maybe go get Wilson? I mean, Tank Dell he's got here too. All right. Let me see if I can find what this. You sent me a picture of the standings. I gotta see if I can actually see it. What is this? Blankenships?
Yeah.
It's got the other. It doesn't have that. I can't tell. This is White Shooter. I don't know if he's in the chat right now, but no, probably not. Traded Bijan last year for London in the 2024 first. Yep. Looking like Caleb Williams. I feel you. New to the whole Dynasty thing. What up, Vision? Where do you play your Dynasty on? We play on Sleeper.
Sleeper, baby.
Sleeper is the best. I mean,
it is.
Coach C. What up, Coach?
Coach.
John in the building. What up, John?
Hell yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I'm kind of liking this team as like a target to try and grab one of these guys. I mean, he's got plenty of guys. There's got to be maybe a QB that you can get out of this. The only problem is we want to hopefully try and do it without giving up two of the first that you have, right? Is that possible?
For Bryce, I think it would be because he has Stroud, Fields, and Goff. So I think Bryce is the target there.
That's what I'm saying. So, where are we? You can definitely throw Charbonnet in there, right? Because he's got K9.
I don't think I want to give up Addison. I mean, it's tough because is Kirk going to be there?
I don't know. I mean, I think he's the highest value guy that we have right now on this team, especially that JJ just went down.
True.
Right? So
fuck
I'm okay with moving him. If we're getting a quarterback, I mean, that's the hardest thing to do. So if we've got to give up wide receivers, then we've got to give up wide receivers, right? We're going to have to give up something good, especially if we want to keep up our first, right? We can start with some kind of Addison, Charbonnet
combo.
And a couple seconds. I mean, we don't want to give up the first, right? But
no, I at this point, because you're gonna need to make that Caleb Marvin Harrison pick, right? That's kind of gonna be your foundation.
That's what we want to. That's what we want to do.
With the quarterback that you're gonna most likely trade for, like you said, Addison, Charbonnet for Bryce Young, Addison and Charbonnet for Bryce Young on that team.
It's going to cost more than that, I would think, though. But
that guy's not playing Bryce Young. He's not.
Addison.
Bryce Young is his fourth
You
quarterback.
can start there. I mean, start the combo there. I don't know how this guy's going to value the QBs, especially the ones that he has. Being that he has so many, maybe he will take it. Then he can. He's got Cheetah, Wilson, and Addison. I mean, I'm sure he'll feel good at that point.
And he's got the handcuff to Walker.
Yep. Maybe you throw a second or two in there and try and get Mingo with him. I throw in 2 seconds if that's what it would take to get the deal done. No, you're not giving up your first.
Yeah, I think you want to hold on to those firsts by pretty much.
You have a few seconds. You have plenty of seconds. And I don't know if this guy's competing or not. I would guess maybe he is. He's got Cheetah, he's got Evans, so he's kind of got a nice little
Stroud, Fields,
nice little mixture where maybe
Walker,
he might be willing to give up Young in order to get the production of Addison right now, the backup to Kenny Walker with Charbonnet, and maybe he takes the seconds. I mean, what else can we give him? If anything, I mean, I don't care if you've got to throw a Reed.
That's tough, man.
He would have. Oh, he's got Andrews. Fuck. Maybe you give him Zach Moss too. Throw in fucking Zach Moss in there. You don't need him. We're tanking, right? I would start there, and then that would at least start the conversation, and then we'd have to make moves from there. I mean,
your first order of business is to get a quarterback.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that if we can get Bryce Young and then not have to spend our first and be able to get Caleb and Marvin Harrison if that's possible. Well, at least Caleb, at least that you're going to be able to get Caleb, but
right.
Does that, then you've got Bryce Young and Caleb going into next year. And, you might not be a bottom of the barrel team to try and get the 101 again, but maybe you're bottom 5 and, that's fine. That's at least, helping your team. At that point, you've got, London, who hopefully has a new quarterback and is doing well. Hopefully J-Mo's doing better. Dotson, Reed, Elijah Moore, Burks. I mean, you've got some guys that could gain in some value, and then maybe you trade some of those guys, combine 2 of them and get a wide receiver. I mean, you got tight end at least in the bag right now.
Yeah, don't worry about the running back.
What if we could tear down? What if we could tear down a tight end?
I'm not.
What if you could get Cole Kmet in the first?
Why are we doing this? No.
Why? Because I want assets. We're rebuilding. I mean, Laporte is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. The problem with Kmet is Kmet's good.
Can I get Kyle Pitts in the first? I mean,
oh God, Kyle Pitts. Stop it with the Kyle Pitts.
Well, I want to tear down and be able to pick up. Can I get Kincaid in the first? I mean, we're not competing next year, right? This is probably a 2-year rebuild.
I understand that the tight end position is something that, for the most part, you can kind of punt on or tear down in. I'm not giving up Sam Laporta, man. I'm working other angles here. Honestly, I'm working the Addison angle. I'm working the Drake London angle. I'm working the running back angle. Even with, like you said, with your second round picks, tossing
we'll take
a bunch
maybe
of those.
Gronk in the first.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Just tough to not take the first, man. It's just tough because that's just that asset. What you can do with that. I mean, I know I love Sam Laporta too. Don't get me wrong, but I try not to get stuck on players and just
I get it, but at some point you have to lock in studs to build, because what you take with that first round pick, obviously, it's most likely not going to be a tight end, but.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't even have to necessarily make the pick, but just the ass, just to have the asset in general, No,
I'm hanging on to Sam Laporta. I'm working other angles here. I'm working anything outside of my first round picks. Even my 2025 first round picks, I might be inclined to part with if I'm going to lock in a stud player. Like if you could give up a 2025 first round pick, and somebody might look at your team and say, hey, that 2025 first round pick is going to be valuable. So I would be inclined to move one of those 2025 first round picks to at least lock in that foundational core.
I'm only giving up the first if we're getting a QB out of it.
Okay.
That's the only way I'm giving up the first. So if you have to give up the first to get Bryce Young, if that's what this guy comes to, I mean, try everything in your power to not to, because that would really benefit you if you're able to pull that off without giving up a first. But
I think that
if you had to, like, I'm okay with giving up one of them.
I think that team would be more inclined to give up a Bryce Young who's not playing well.
But that's the thing, is that you might not have to. Yeah, it's a good attack. It's a good team to attack for this.
And he's got 3 other good quarterbacks. So yeah, that would be the team to target for your quarterback.
Sure. But yeah, appreciate you, White Shooter, for sending in the roster. Hopefully, we gave you some ideas and things to think about or strategize with. Let us know how it goes and what you wound up pulling off or what you kind of think you might want to do now. But Jamie said, sending your live to a dude asking me my opinion, told him to check out your podcast and get your expertise. Appreciate you, Jamie.
Always appreciate that.
Fantasy Ninjas, what up? Do we trade for JJ on a discount? If you're a team that can handle waiting on JJ for 4 weeks, then yeah.
Yeah, we talked about this with Jackson's team, right? Like, it's situational, right? If you got Chase on your team, yeah, maybe. If you got, Cheetah on your team, yeah, maybe. If DK Metcalf is your number 1 wide receiver, probably not.
There is that tiny bit of risk that they trade Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
We don't know, but just a little, just to look at the other side of it, of what how it could not benefit you. But he is still JJ. I'm sure he'll be he'll be decent, and you don't need him to be necessarily a wide receiver 1 if you're able to wait 4 weeks for him anyway. So I'm okay.
So to put things into their proper context, if you're buying Justin Jefferson right now, he's not going to play until week 11. Right? We're in week 6. He's going to miss 6, 7, 8, 9, so 10, week 10 at the earliest. He's not going to play till week 10. Right? So just put it in its proper context, right? I'm speaking mostly on redraft, obviously. Dynasty, you buy Justin Jefferson if you can. That's probably not even a question. I don't think anybody's trying to trade Justin Jefferson in Dynasty for the most part anyway. But in redraft, keep in mind, you're basically going to get Justin Jefferson for 5 games. And what do the Vikings look like in a month without him?
Yeah. Ricky, what up, Ricky? Esnor, what up? What to do, boys?
It's a badass avatar.
Ice Dowdle and Keaton Mitchell looking good. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, I mean, we're about to get up out of here. So any last questions, throw them in the chat. I'll give y'all another minute or so. Throw any last questions or anything in the chat before we get up out of here. Appreciate everybody for coming out, guys. Make sure you help us out. Smash the like, smash the subscribe if you're new.
We're growing, man.
Free way to help us out.
We're growing, man. We're almost at 500. We need to get there. That's the milestone we're looking for. We want you guys a part of this.
458 right now, so
yeah, we want you guys a part of this this journey. Really quick, what'd you think about the Cup for Eckler trade I made in our home dynasty? What'd you think?
You need a running back. I like it. Yeah, you've got some good wide receivers already, so yeah, I'm good with that. I'll take it.
I felt like I made that trade. I mean, I anticipated when I made that trade, I anticipated losing to you and going into next week 2 and 3 with
I anticipated winning and I fucking lost. But I mean, listen, there's nothing I can do. I'm like up there in points for, like I'm in the top of the league. So I'm not crazy worried about it. It just, it sucks, but it is what it is.
So I almost regretted it. I was like, damn, man, and Eckler was on a bye. So I don't even have Eckler. I didn't even get to use Eckler this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, damn, maybe I traded Cup a week too early because I could have used that 20 whatever points he got in our league. He was pretty damn good. So, but yeah, it kind of worked out on all fronts where I still won the week, and I just needed that running back. And I think Eckler's production, and I asked this in our Instagram chat, what everybody thought, and they liked it because they think Eckler's style of play kind of translates him to kind of aging well, I guess is a good way to put it.
I guess my only concern is that if he's not on the Chargers, like that's my only concern is if he goes somewhere else.
Do you think he does?
I don't know. I mean, these contracts gonna be up. Like, what are they gonna do?
They could franchise him
They
again.
didn't want to pay him before, so are they gonna franchise him or like? That's the only tough part about it is like I don't know, but yeah, I mean Eckler's a beast. Eric, what up, Eric? Johnny Mittens referred me. What up, Eric? Yeah, Johnny Mittens is cool. That's my guy.
Little Camara action.
Appreciate you tuning in, Eric. Don't leave yet. I just got here, Jamie said. Well, I'm rolling up one more, so I'll sit here and smoke it. I just made a trade in a dynasty league, so I'll talk about that. Trade
What you got?
So that same kind of rebuilding. It's not even a rebuild. It's more of like a retool. So same league that I traded Waddle for Pittman in the first. That is basically the 101 right now. So I basically have the 101 and the 102 right now in this particular league as of right now, and we'll see what happens. But where is it? Yeah, I'll stick around for a minute, Jamie. But telling all my followers to subscribe to your channel because I trust all your advice and I love you guys. I appreciate you, Jamie.
Jamie, you've been here
Love
for a
y'all.
minute.
Love y'all too, man. Love y'all too. So in this league, I have CeeDee Lamb, Michael Pittman.
This is the Waddle deal you said?
JSN, Elijah Moore. This is what?
The Waddle deal that you made for Pittman?
Yeah, the one I traded for Pittman in the first. So I've got some good young, pretty much wide receivers. My QBs are Deshaun Watson and fucking Zach Wilson because, Aaron Rodgers went down. But I'll have the 101 or the 102, or the 102 basically, if everything goes to plan. And so, of course, I'm going to take Caleb Williams and I'm going to take Marvin Harrison. And then my team is going to be looking pretty good. There is IDP in this league. So anyway, I have KJ Osborne on this squad. And being that JJ just got hurt, I thought it would be a good time to try and capitalize on KJ Osborne and just trade him for – I was basically just looking for a third. Somebody offered me a third, and then I just kind of wanted to take the temperature and see if I could get something else out of it. And then he has like Deontay Johnson on his bench, and he's a contending team. So I was like, maybe I could sneak away like Deontay. And yes, I'm rebuilding, but more, like I said, more of kind of like a retool. So I sent KJ Osborne in a second, and I got back Deontay Johnson and a fourth.
Okay.
So, and I don't need Deontay for this year, right? He's got one more year on his contract with the Steelers. I think he's 27. So who knows where he's going to go after that, if he's going to stay on the Steelers or not. And I don't necessarily have to keep him, of course. Of course, I can move him if I need to. But now it's like, now I've got CeeDee Lamb, Michael Pittman, Deontay Johnson, JSN, Marvin Harrison, hopefully, and I've got I've got Jaden Reed, I've got Kadarius Toney, Elijah Moore, so I've got some guys, and now it's kind of looking up, right? If I add Caleb to this team and a Marvin Harrison, I'm in pretty good shape already, after 1 year. So
yeah, the interesting thing with that is that you kind of want to set yourself up going forward, but at the same time, kind of like you said, I think the better word that you used was the retool, as opposed to rebuild. So yeah, I mean, if you're okay with kind of acquiring those younger assets, You already
Deontay
moved
would
off a
be
Waddle.
yeah, Deontay would be my wide receiver 3, right? Because I have CD, Pittman, and Deontay, and then JSN and Marvin Harrison could be, in the flexes next year anyway. I got Tony still, I got Reed, I've still got some assets that maybe I can move around. I've got picks, I've got 3 firsts in this league. So I'll have the 101 and the 102 hopefully, or at least the 101 and maybe the 103. 104, and then I have a pick from a guy I think he's contending. I think he's in 5th place right now, so we'll see what happens with that pick. But that's just another pick that I have to play with. I've got 3 seconds. Well, now I've got 2 seconds because I spent one. I've got 2 seconds, so I've got some assets, right? I got draft capital, and I just retooled. I didn't do anything crazy. I mean, then I wound up trading Hawkinson also. So I traded Hawkinson for Hawkinson and some defensive guys for a first and a second. So, I retooled a little bit. I think I got Jaden Reed and like Tony out of that deal. So, and I don't have to start a tight end in this league, but I got Ferguson for now. It was just a little retool, and it's just following a good process, a strategy, and not falling in love with certain players. So that's kind of what I was looking to do, man.
Show.
Roshan time, yep. High ankle sprains are tough to come back from. Herbert was trouble. Well, I have Roshan in a bunch of leagues. Dynasty, I think I only have him in 1 league, but I think in redraft I have him in a few. He's on my bench. That's what happens. I mean, Achan, same thing. Technicality, injuries happened, and he wound up, being able to play. So, I mean, that's what happens, bro. JSN will be a wide receiver 1, playing him in your flex next year. Yeah, exactly. Hoping that he turns into something by next year, but.
Well, I think DK will still be around. Lockett.
DK, of course, will be around. Lockett is the one where it's like, okay, do they move on from Lockett or do they keep him another year? That's gonna be, the one. So, I think that I should be able to hopefully compete next year. If not, for sure the year after. If guys hit and do well, obviously injuries happen. Sometimes guys don't pan out. So we'll see what happens, but I feel like I had a good strategy going in. I had a plan, and I kind of, I'm executing my plan through this kind of little retool that I have here. I know I'm not winning this year. I just don't have the firepower to. Aaron Rodgers fucked me. Zach Wilson is trash. I mean,
he is trash.
So, I had to, just figured I'd try and make some moves. I mean, the 1 QB leagues are the ones where there's not much action, and I don't fucking like it. But the super flex league, that's where there's just a ton of trading going on. There's more value, there's more strategy. I mean, there's more starters. Like, the quarterbacks are crazy important. It just brings a different element to fantasy. What do you think about the super flex?
I love it, honestly. I think it adds. I love it because the value of things are better. Like, there's more value to your players and your picks, for that matter. In a 1 quarterback league, anything really out a back end 1, people consider that a 2nd round pick. I was trying to make a trade in our home dynasty league, and I've been a contender, pretty much every year. And one of the comments one of the guys had said to me was, "You're a contender every year, so your 1st round pick doesn't mean much to me." So it kind of devalues my 1st round pick, which is why I ended up including it in the deal for Devontae Adams when I moved Josh Jacobs. So, that I like Superflex a little bit more because there is more movement. There's more value to everything. Quarterbacks are more valuable. Wide receivers are more valuable. Draft picks are more valuable. So it makes everything, you know,
I feel
more
like
valuable.
the picks and the draft are like way more fun almost. Like it's
yeah, because you know you
you
can
know.
get a back end one. You can get, like you said, a Zay Flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Zay Flowers has been fantastic. If you got Zay Flowers at the 111, you fucking love that.
I got like QJ in one league at like the
Right.
110.
Right.
I was like, okay.
Take it.
We'll see
Exactly.
what happens, obviously, going forward. But I was happy that I was able to get him, get him so late. So, Tyler, what up, Tyler? Pick up Godwin, Osborne, or Gabe Davis to soften the Jefferson blow.
Listen, the initial response here would be Godwin, but Gabe Davis has been good, man, in a good offense. You can't kind of ignore what you've seen over a good sample size. The initial, like I said, is Godwin, but Gabe Davis is definitely a worthy pickup.
Yeah, you could go Godwin or Gabe Davis here.
I think Gabe Davis has the higher upside in terms of touchdown and big play production. Because Gabe Davis doesn't need a ton
He
of
could have that
targets.
boom, yeah. He could have the boom weeks, those boom weeks, but it's tough between Godwin or Davis. It's going to be whoever you want more. I'm just going to go with Godwin because I feel like he should at least be more consistent. But I mean, like you said, Gabe Davis is on the better offense, so it's just tough. It's just tough.
Yeah.
I think I'd lean Godwin, but I'm okay if you decide to go Davis instead. Did Brees, Pickens, and St. Brown for Chase, JT, and G. Will. Brees, Pickens, St. Brown for Chase, JT, and G. Will. All right, you got Chase and you got JT. You got G. Will instead of Pickens. So I'd rather have Chase and St. Brown, right? Rather JT and Brees, I guess you can say, are kind of evenish. But I guess you lean Brees because JT's not fully back yet, right? And then you go from Pickens to Garrett Wilson. So
I think this is a net win.
Yeah.
Especially now that
we said this is okay, hold on. This is Dynasty and Superflex. Okay, hold on. Let me reassess this. Where's my lighter? Chase, JT. Oh yeah, I'm taking Chase, JT, and Garrett Wilson. Chase, JT, and Garrett Wilson for sure.
That's what I'm saying. I think
Dynasty, yeah. Brees and JT are wash. Dynasty, right? Did you say that's a wash? JT and Brees and Dynasty, basically.
I think Brees has a little more, but that's fine.
They're basically top 3-ish. Dynasty, top 5 at least.
But if that means you're getting Chase and Garrett Wilson over Pickens and St. Brown, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Chase is arguably the 101 next year in one QB, and arguably the first wide receiver off the board next year. If Kirk is not there, right? You could argue that people are going to start taking Chase over JJ.
What if it's Caleb in Minnesota?
Well, then that's a different story, maybe.
Yeah, I would agree because there's more certainty with Chase's situation than there is with Jefferson.
Exactly. So yeah, I like it, Eric. I think you killed it. You got Chase, you got JT, and then you got G Willie on the low for George Pickens. I mean, that's an awesome trade.
On the nothing.
Trade. You got my stamp of approval, Eric.
For sure. Getting that for sure.
You got it. On fam. Just lost JJ. Team is Fields, Jacobs, Brees, Monty Keenan, Amari Cooper, Ayuk, Kelsey, Nico Collins. Thoughts? I mean, you got some good wide receivers there, so I think you're pretty solid.
Yeah.
I think you just hold them.
You can withstand that. Yep.
I think you can withstand it. Yeah, don't panic. Don't panic, my man. You got this, bro. In my only single QB league today, someone made a comment. This league is my most non-active league with trades. I said, duh, because it's not super flex. Yeah, it really is a huge difference, which is crazy. Evans might not play. So Godwin, if Evans doesn't play. Yeah, if Evans doesn't play, then yeah.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
Sure. All right, we're about to get up out of here, guys. Throw any last second questions in there. I'm going to give y'all another 60 seconds or so. And then we got to be up out of here. But I mean, awesome show. I think we covered a lot of stuff today.
Hell
The
yeah.
rebuilding stuff was fun. The review. Yeah, we are now going into week 6.
It feels like the
pick
season just
up.
started.
Yeah, well, the season will be over. I mean, how many weeks do we have?
14 for fantasy. Yeah, 8 more. 2 more months. 2 more months.
14. So we didn't even get halfway there yet. Shit. We didn't even get halfway there yet.
It starts to get late early. If you're in that 2 and 3 kind of gotta get this dub. But let's get it done, boys.
Yep. I said, hell yeah, bro. You fucking got Chase, bro. You got G Willie for fucking Pickens, dog. That's awesome. And not that Pickens is not.
Pickens has been solid.
He has been solid. He's been playing awesome, but don't forget Deontay's not there right now. But I mean, yeah, G Willie, I'll take 1,000% over Pickens. So
I would agree.
And like I said, Brees and JT are relatively close. I prefer Brees, but JT's kind of right there for me. At least they're back to back for me in my dynasty ranking. So yeah, man, solid deal. And I love me some St. Brown, but if I'm getting Chase,
yep, that doesn't even matter at that point. Yep,
adios, man. Jamie said, love all the content, even though I haven't made the lives. I always listen to the reruns. Yeah, appreciate you, Jamie.
We love that,
Jamie, all the time. Fuck yeah, Eric. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Appreciate you, Eric. Make sure you go follow on our channel as well, which is Dynasty Life Fantasy Football. We have our show here on Tuesdays, but we have our channel that we're on, pretty much 4 nights a week. So White Queen said there's a lot left. Don't rush it. Yep, I know. Appreciate you, White Queen. As always, hey, White Queen, hit me up on Instagram or Facebook, whatever. I think I have both of yours, but hit me up on there because I was thinking about. I don't think Marty's in here. Or what's his name, Dennis. But I was thinking about doing like a Minnesota Viking podcast thing, like maybe 1 night a week or something like that. I was trying to create a show for that. So yeah,
I'll be
the down. If maybe
I'll be the special guest just to import some real football knowledge.
Ain't sending no Packer fans to invite. We're talking about Viking football. Viking football, bro.
What do you have to speak about? There's nothing's been done. Where
shut up.
What are you going to talk about? Adrian Peterson all the time? Okay. We're going to talk about Adrian Peterson all the time? Come on.
What are you going to talk about? Fucking Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and how you only got how many Super Bowls out of it for fucking 30 years?
Wait. Did we win Super Bowls or not?
Yeah, but you should have won a lot more with 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of pretty much, you can say of all time. They're up there.
Do we have Hall of Fame quarterback play? Are we one of the best run franchises in the NFL? Yes.
Bro.
Thank you.
Bro, you got to do something with it though, bro. You got to do something with it, bro. Come on now. I mean, if we had look what we did with 1 year of fucking Brett Favre, bro. We should have won the ship that fucking year. But yeah, bro. Don't start.
Yeah, your best year was with our quarterback. Your best year in recent vintage is with our quarterback. So there you go. I rest my case.
Oh my god.
So bring me on. I'll impart some wisdom. I'll show you what a real franchise
maybe we'll get Aaron Rodgers in 2 years. I mean, who knows?
You don't want that.
Should have definitely won that year with Favre. That was a special fucking season. And he fucking threw it cross body, across the field.
You know what that's called?
Running it. All he had to do is just run it for the little 5 yards, and we could have kicked the field goal, or at least had a chance to kick the field goal. Not that we've had any luck with fucking field goal kickers, because we lose all the time on damn field goals. Going back to Garrett Anderson, guy doesn't miss a field goal all fucking season, and then misses the chip shot fucking
That's
playoff
called.
game. Oh my god, bro.
That's called poetic justice. Brett Favre.
And then the other dude, who was the other one that fucking missed the kicks? Fucking Blair Walsh, the fucking Blair Witch Project. That was a fucking nightmare. I mean, ridiculous, bro. Minnesota, we are Minnesota strong in these channels. We are. We got quite a few. Hammer's got a few Packer fans, but the Viking fans definitely outnumber for real. Rebuilding, yeah, we got to rebuild now.
That's fine. I don't need.
Jordan Love is trash.
No. He was trash yesterday, but he's not trash.
All right, let's get up out of here. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit the like for us, subscribe if you haven't already. But we out.
You ready, Jerry?
I'm ready.
Just want to make sure you're ready, brother. Show me the money.
Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling.
Put my shoes on, you wouldn't last a mile. Summertime, wintertime, I'm on the grind. Yeah, I got the ring, I'm the champ, I'm the genie of the lamp.
This is the gift I was given, so I just live by my hustle.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Yeah.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Yeah.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Yeah, I need me put in my pocket, it don't make sense, but don't make a profit. So I hustle, ladies and homies. Make money, money.